everybody, welcome to historic McMorran Place in beautiful downtown Port Huron. My name is Will Wiggleman. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Well, last night the Prowlers rewrote their franchise record books, tying and setting new franchise records in an offensive performance for the ages in a 12-1 win over the Watertown Wolves. And it came thanks in part to all of their collegiate signings this past week. Grayson Dietrich had 4 goals, John Larkin 2 assists, Ryan Alexander had an assist as well. And tonight they get to face off against the same Watertown Wolves, and we'll see if the offense can get near to the same level tonight as it did last night. It is Pucks and Pups night at McMorran Place. There will be lots of dogs in the building, but the Prowlers are hoping that on the ice, the success goes to the Cats. Well, much more coming up for you on the pregame show next. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Is that him?
Look over there. It's Bob. Wow, just look at that hair.
Ever since he started getting his stuff from Global, the guy's unstoppable.
So that's what confidence can do?
That's just not fair.
Oh my goodness, it's Bob! Bob! Bob!
Give me the phone. I'm calling Global Pharmacy Plus for myself.
Welcome back to Port Huron. The Prowlers and the Wolves are getting set to go for the second meeting of this 2-game weekend. Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network, live here at McMorran Place. Thanks so much again for joining us tonight. Well, let's take a look back at what happened in last night's game. As the Prowlers, well, they set some franchise records last night. Let's go over those with you. First, let's look back at the highlights from last night's game. As the Prowlers, you saw it there momentarily that the Prowlers scored 12 goals. Here we go. Look back at the highlights. Started early. Grayson Dietrich, high glove. That was his first pro goal in his pro debut, and he was not done. There's his second. A few minutes later, and Brett Lockhart got himself involved in the scoring, and I mean, that's just the way the night went for the Watertown Wolves. Lockhart hit the post, it hit Hunter Hall and went into the net. Bobby Price finished up period 1 for the Prowlers. It was 4-0. And the second period, there's another look at Bobby Price's goal. Then we get to the second period. Matt Graham in front to Dietrich. He gets it back, and the hat-trick goal for Grayson Dietrich in his pro debut. And the hats had to be collected off the ice here at McMorran Place. Prowlers still weren't done. Reggie Millette on the backhand added another. So the Prowlers continuing to roll. Here's Price with his second of the game. And then Vinny DeCumbis able to clean this one up. Prowlers had an 8-0 lead through 2. And then here's Price in the third. Turnaround shot. That was his hat-trick goal. Dietrich with his 4th of the game. Get another look at Dietrich's 4th. And then it was Price who would get his, pardon me, that was Price's hat trick goal. And there's just so many goals, you're losing track. That actually might have been Price's fourth. Dustin Henning got one back for the Watertown Wolves. Brett Lockhart, though, finished it up. 12th goal of the night for the Prowlers, as they finished with a few franchise records. Go over them now, as the 4 goals for Price and Dietrich, that tied a franchise record for most goals in a game by a single player, the 4th and 5th players in team history to do it. The 12 goals tied a franchise record set back on February 4th, 2018. And the Prowlers set a new franchise record with an 11-goal margin of victory. It was the kind of game that rewrote the record books for the Port Huron Prowlers. Well, obviously the Prowlers didn't really move in the standings at all, but the big difference in the Empire Division standings, we have a new X on the list. The Blue Ridge Bobcats clinched their playoff spot officially last night. Tonight, the Prowlers can reach 100 points for the first time since 2018, and they can clinch home ice advantage in the first round of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. Take a look at some players to watch. First on the Watertown side, Marquise Grant-Mentis is a speedy guy. He is always in and around the play. 7 goals, 12 points in 16 games for the Watertown Wolves this season. It will be looked upon to try and find some scoring for a Wolves club that has not been able to find much as of late. Then on the other side for the Prowlers, we have another milestone in the house. Blake Anderson is playing his 100th career FPHL game tonight. Last season, 55 with the Monroe Moccasins. This year, 44 with the Port Huron Prowlers. 80 points in those 99 games. He's back in the lineup after getting a day off yesterday. So you take a look at where Anderson will slot into the Prowlers lineup here. Few changes. R2 Hakela takes Jamie Bucell's spot with Reggie Millette and Grayson Dietrich, as Bucell getting his turn with a night off, as is Vinny DeCumbis, as is Dylan Marty. Luke James and Justin Jamer work into the lineup. James centering Bobby Price and Blake Anderson. Ryan Alexander now moves to center. He will play with Matt Graham and Lucas Lockney. The defense pairings juggled just a little bit. John Larkin will play alongside Austin Federley tonight, and Tim Morgan and Nick Favaro reunited as well. Let's take you down to ice level for the rest of tonight's pregame ceremonies.
Make some noise for your Port Huron Prowlers! Whose house? Whose house? Whose house? Somebody scream! It's now time to meet tonight's Orthopedic Associates starting lineup. On defense, number 16, Brian Parsons. On defense, number 18, Brett Lockhart. And forward, number 22, Luke James. And forward, number 61, Justin Jamer. And forward, number 94, Blake Anderson. And in goal, number 39, Bailey Huber. The head coach of the Prowlers is Matt Graham. Associate head coach Chris Collin and assistant coach Alex Johnson. Racing. Athletic trainer Richard Smith, presented by Postgame and Internal Medicine Associates. Equipment managers Brian Larson and Ken Falk. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise, and gentlemen, may we suggest removing your caps as we honor America and salute the men and women serving our country with the singing of our national anthem, presented by Duraclean by Mike Batchelor. We remind all members of the armed forces and veterans who are present but not in uniform that you may render the military salute. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Cheryl McCoy.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, in the home of the brave.
Cheryl McCoy back on the anthem tonight here at McMorran Place. Prowlers and Wolves getting set to go. Let's take a look at who's starting tonight for the Port Huron Prowlers. Justin Jamer, Luke James, and Blake Anderson up front. Brian Parsons and Brett Lockhart, the Massachusetts connection on defense. Bailey Huber between the pipes, and certainly I will not get Jamer and James confused at all throughout tonight's game, but stick around to find out if I do say anything funny. Now that takes us to our starting goaltending matchup. Bailey Huber back again for the Port Huron Prowlers. He's the workhorse right now for Port Huron. He's won 10 of his last 11 starts, made 12 saves last night in the kind of game where you might ask him if he wants a chair, as he didn't face too much action, but did make a lot of the saves that he had to. On the other side, Marshall McCallop is getting the start tonight. He came in relief of Rico Gonzalez last night with over half the game to go, made 19 saves on 25 shots. As we have Paw Patrol in the building tonight, let's take a look at, and there you see both goaltenders getting set to go in the goal crease. Well, the Prowlers and Meyer are combining for the Goals for Good program, and the Prowlers did a number for the Goals for Good program last night. For every goal the Prowlers score this season, Meyer will donate money to help deliver meals to families in need. So far this season, the Prowlers and Meyer have helped deliver over 10,200 meals to families in our community. And again, the Prowlers cost Meyer a little bit of money last night with their 12-goal outburst. It is just about hockey time here at McMorran Place. Prowlers are wearing specialty Paw Patrol themed jerseys tonight. And they have alumni Andy DeCristofaro on the siren down at the entrance, down at the Zamboni door. So cool to see Andy DeCristofaro out, a Commissioner's Cup champion back in 2016 for the Prowlers, former goaltender in the Port Huron inaugural season. These Paw Patrol jerseys the Prowlers are wearing right now will be auctioned off after the game to benefit the Blue Water Area Humane Society. We have some conversations here. Brian Parsons, Justin Jamer, Vladimir Fadiev, Marquise Grant-Mentis all involved. As the puck drops, everybody keeps their gloves on, and we're underway. Although Zimmerman and Jamer, they're gonna go! First pro fight for Jamer, and he's whacking away. Jamer has his jersey over his head, he's still going. Zimmerman throwing some rights. Jamer firing away, over the top, he's got him down, and the linesmen break it up. Welcome to Port Huron, Justin Jamer in his second pro game. Jamer being escorted to the locker room. Take another look at that one. No defense, only offense in that fight. Jamer got the better of Zimmerman at the end. It's possible that that might be the end of the night for Justin Jamer, however, as he was sent off with his jersey coming over his head and maybe an illegal equipment related thing. Although the Prowlers are wearing specialty jerseys tonight, and not sure if there is or is not a fighting strap in those specialty jerseys, and maybe that changes things. Austin Federley looks like he's trying to show something to Steve Gowdy, and now Luke James has a jersey from the Prowler bench. Seems the argument is that there's no fight strap on the jersey, or maybe just a not very good one, although there is one right there. That's Jamer's jersey that Luke James has. Looks like the fighting strap may have ripped. Might be the argument the Prowlers are making as the referees all confer. We take another look at that fight. Again, no defense, only offense. Jamer had the uppercut. Got it on Zimmerman, that first punch that you saw when the replay started, and then see the jersey come over top of Jamer's head, but he kept on fighting. We'll get back to hockey, and it appears that the Prowlers will be one short for this game. Down to 9 forwards and 6 defensemen. Shot towards the net, stopped by Huber, and Parsons grabs the rebound. Lockhart. Henning picks up the puck, tried a long pass, hit Blake Anderson, popped high up in the air, and dropped right in front of the Watertown bench. Federley backpedaling, gave it off for John Larkin. Over to Millette. Reggie Millette tried to pass it back across, hit off of Malsagov's stick. Federley going back for it, sweeps it right up the boards. Millette slipped it through. Here comes Larkin walking in. Soft touch down low. And unable to keep it moving around was Hakala. Larkin back for Favaro. Millette looks to wheel up ice. Saw 5 Wolves in front of him, passed it off to Favaro. Now Larkin ahead to Millette into the offensive zone. Millette couldn't slide it for Hakala. Here's a shot and a goal! Grayson Dietrich had 4 last night. He's got the first one tonight. How good is Grayson Dietrich? What a rip, high glove on McCallum. Prowlers score on their first shot of the game. And that is an absolutely crazy shot. Perfectly placed top corner. 5th goal for Dietrich in 2 games as a pro. Prowlers off and running early after 12 goals last night. Between this game and the last 2 between these teams, the Prowlers have now scored 20 unanswered goals against the Watertown Wolves, which is ridiculous. Or pardon me, not 20 unanswered. They've outscored the Wolves 20-2 as Luke James looks for a shot that goes off a stick and into the corner. James out to Price on his backhand and just disrupted by Fadiev. Working down the boards is Lockhart. Had a 4-point game last night, a career high for him, as McCallop is able to clutch this one to his chest and hang on for a whistle and a face-off. Still in the early stages of period 1, and the Prowlers already with a 1-0 lead. Millette has his line out there. Draw against Reiter. Grant Mentis tried to move it ahead, and it was batted across the blue line by Federley, but Larkin brought it back in offside. John Larkin had 2 assists last night in his pro debut. Also 5 shots on goal for Larkin, as he had one shift where the rest of the guys on the ice were just feeding him for shots. Still looking for his first pro goal. Gleb Varava on for Reiter. Dumped in as Reiter took a big hit. That was from Hakala. Federley tossed it all the way down. No icing here. Varava. Right up the strong side to Reiter. Prowlers finishing up a change as Grant Mentis set the puck deep and couldn't squeeze past Ryan Alexander. Lockney pops it off the wall. Comes all the way across. Gordon keeps it alive, but he played across the blue line and it bounced out. Organ for Favaro. Ahead to Graham. Now it's Lockney handing off. Graham down to Lockney. Tried to push it back to the point. Popped up in the air and into the neutral zone. Graham tried to hand it off. Only handed it to Bencic though. Sent it off the side of the net. Malsagov up to the top. D-to-D pass. Brian Dunford with a shot blocked on the way through by Alexander. There's Dunford straight up the boards. Bencic off to his left to Samard. Tried to dump it in, fanned on the dump. Lockhart grabs it. Now Blake Anderson floats it all the way across for Price to skate into. He spins back. James now behind the net to Anderson, looking in front towards Price. He was tied up on a knee. Lockhart able to keep the puck alive. Delayed penalty coming up against the Wolves. Anderson to the middle, looking for Millette, who is coming off the bench in place of Bailey Huber, who had stepped off for the delayed penalty situation. We'll get our first power play of the game. It's Brian Dunford heading to the sin bin. Reggie Millette and Brian Parsons picked up the assists on the goal by Grayson Dietrich for the Prowlers. Parsons got his 100th career FPHL point last night. He had 2 assists. Here is Dietrich wheeling to the slot. Couldn't get much on it. Puck still loose, and a great save by McCall. Backdoor feed. Lockney just lost an edge and the puck. And here comes Grant Mentis shorthanded. This shot blocked up by Millette. Reiter back down low to Grant Mentis. Muscled off by Larkin, and the Prowlers control. It's Price, Larkin, Millette, Lockney, and Graham. Price actually came off the bench to replace Dietrich, who broke his stick. Lockney Wheeling in, off the backboards, wrapped all the way around. Price couldn't keep it in. Hall trying to take it from Bobby Price. Graham comes in to help out, and he chips it back to Larkin. Prowlers switching up their unit. Larkin. Drop for Price. Moves to his left. Price in. All the way around. And the Prowlers set up with 50 seconds left in their power play. Blake Anderson spins away from Benčić. Here's Price with a shot. Missed just wide. Heikkila up to Anderson. Favaro wants it. He takes it, and a glove save made by McCallum. 37 seconds left in the Prowlers' first power play of the game. They have a 1-0 lead.
This isn't working. LJ, pass me those flyers. No look behind the back pass. It's a whole play. I'll take. Come on. Gap up. Close the gap. Close the gap. What are we saying? This isn't working. We need a shift change. Let's bring in the professionals.
Hello, I'm home. There he is. What is happening? Relax. We won. They brought back the snack wrap. Spicy or ranch? Spicy. Yeah, go. Yeah. Just one little bite. Can you stop? Oh, sorry.
Gather your crew. Snack wrap is back.
Back here at McMorran Place, Prowlers with a 1-0 lead. Still 37 seconds left on their first power play of the game. They have one shot on net during the man advantage. Up early, 3-1 on shots. This unit, Alexander, Price, Favaro, Anderson, and Heikkila. Ryan Alexander looking in front. Steps up high. Now Price over to Favaro. He walks the blue line. Now Price, Alexander in front. Heikkila just sent it too high. Anderson walking downhill. Up top, Favaro, Price. Down to Alexander, back to Price. Hit some traffic on the backhand. Heikkila pitchforked it over top of the net. And the Wolves clear it out after the power play expired. Here's Lockhart, fresh off the bench, wheeling back in. Lockhart dances, in front, couldn't find Anderson. Now a drive off of the mask of McCallum and out of play as Dietrich got himself back into a scoring area. Looking for an edge in your game? Get it with Top Cheese Stick Wax, the official wax of the Port Huron Prowlers. Use code Prowlers15 for 15% off at TopCheeseHockeyWax.com. Boy, Brett Lockhart has some great hands. We've seen him make lots of great moves this season. That was a beautiful one just moments ago and just couldn't find a teammate on the back doors. There's a wrist shot scooped up by McCallum. I think a Wolf may have gotten their stick on it on the way through, but either way, Prowlers defense active, jumping into the play, trying to lead the rush. They almost caught the Wolves in a change there as it was a 3-on-2. Watertown's forwards are heading towards the bench. Here comes Newman. Sends it around. Popped up the Zamboni door, poked at by Hubert, batted around, comes up high, McDonald shot, hit the bar! Some chaos after the puck hit the Zamboni door and Ian McDonald caught iron. Varava played it to the middle and Dietrich able to step in front of his number 17 opposite Zimmerman. Puck slid down deep. James and Newman after it. Samard watched by Luke James, who has a big group of friends and family in the house. Family came out to watch him get baptized last night after the Faith and Family Night for the Prowlers. So really cool moment for Luke James, and to have his entire family out here I know was special for him. And now his family gets to see him wrap the puck around to Austin Federley. And shout out to the James family. They're hanging out with some of my family who was able to make it out for this weekend. Wanted to see all the cool new stuff we had here at McMorran as we are up sides here at the Prowler line. We have a few families here in the house, as we often do here at McMorran Place. There's the puck hitting the Zamboni door, and that's what started all the trouble a few moments ago. And there's the shot by McDonald that just caught the crossbar. Ian McDonald was looking for his second goal of the year. Bavaro's pass picked off. Here comes Bencic with a step. Bavaro hustling back. Bencic tried a pass that missed Malsagov. Lockney dangles past Bencic. Here come the Prowlers. Alexander gets around Samard. Drops it back. Bavaro's blast just missed wide. Oregon over to Alexander. Up towards Lockney, who tipped it in. Henning, reverse for Samard. Hall met at the red line by Lockhart. He dumps it around, and now Watertown gets a change. Brad Reiter's line stepping out. Reiter, Grant Mentis, and Fadiev on this shift. Millette speeds past Fadiev. Stops up, but Fadiev was tracking him the whole way and kept skating to take the puck. Dietrich able to toss it deep. McCallop out of his goal crease to play it around towards Reiter. Millette steps in front of Reiter and Gordon. Millette swept it out in front, puck bouncing around. And Grant Mentis gets to it on the near side half wall. If you hear the occasional bark on the broadcast, don't adjust your speakers. It is Pucks and Pups night here at McMorran Place, so we do have some dogs in the arena enjoying tonight's game. Here's a chance for Price. He scores! Bobby Price with his team high 26. It's 2-0. Blake Anderson able to find Bobby Price on the rush. And Price another rip to that top corner. He also had 4 goals yesterday, like the first goal scorer of the night, Grayson Dietrich. And Price stays red hot. Blake Anderson picks up an assist in his 100th career FPHL game. This is his 45th as a Port Huron Prowler. Played 55 last year with Monroe, as Matt Gilbert, right off the faceoff, tried to take advantage of a miscue by the Prowlers defense. Here's Newman, turned it on goal, blocked, and it lands to Anderson. Larkin up the glass and out of the zone. Varava for Gilbert. He wheels ahead. Matt Gilbert dumps it in deep, sidesteps a hip check try from Luke James. And now here comes Alexander with James. Ryan Alexander backpedals. Couldn't dangle around Newman. Alexander gets back to the puck, tried to cycle it down the boards. Gilbert just fires it down to Prowler territory. Favaro off to Lockney. Pass was in his skates. Samard gets it to Bencic. Oregon getting away from Hall. Had to deal with another Wolf who was collapsing on him behind the net. Still able to get ahead to Alexander. Now it's Graham with Lockney breaking. Henning took it right off of Matt Graham's stick. Prowlers will try again, as Oregon had his pass blocked by Malsagov. Dietrich for Hakala. Able to dangle in, but couldn't get it back to Dietrich. Dietrich dealing with Henning. Millette bounces it up high. Lockhart Thought about the drive. Now take a wrist shot that's stopped by McCallum. Dietrich down to Hakala. Millette back for Hakala, trying to wrestle the puck away from Malsigov. Now Millette off the boards. Wolves still can't get it out. Hakala with a shot along the ice that slips wide. Tossed out by Hunter Hall. This one go all the way down. No icing though, so the Wolves get a much needed change. We approach 8 minutes left to go in the opening period. Prowlers lead by 2, and they're right back on the attack. Bumped off the boards. Grant Mentis up and out. Parsons holds it in at the red line. James played it over, tapped down towards Grant Mentis. He couldn't bring it in. Grant Mentis got a piece of Huber. Prowlers want after Marquise Grant Mentis. Linesman will prevent that, at least for the moment, as Grant Mentis is being escorted back to his bench. Prowlers up on shots 7-2 now, and up on the scoreboard 2-0.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hi guys, we just stopped at Industrial Park Marathon to get some fuel and some snacks before the Prowlers game at McMorran.
Nice. Yeah, we just stopped by here at Industrial Park Marathon so I can get a Slurpee before the game.
Wait till after the game. If the Prowlers score 3 or more goals, Slurpees will be free.
Thanks for the info. I'm going to get my Slurpee after, but we'll see you at the Prowlers game.
See you at the game. Go
Go
Prowlers!
Back here on the PHP Network, your Prowlers already lead it 2-0 over the Watertown Wolves. And Will, I'd have to say that this is on pace for maybe the most dominant weekend the Prowlers have ever had. When you add in last night's shot totals, the Prowlers have outshot Watertown 63-15 through 70-plus minutes of hockey. Again, 63-15. I can't remember the last time I've seen a nearly 50-shot differential between a game and change. Back to you, Will.
Thank you, Brady. And if my math is correct, that's more than 4 times the number of shots the Prowlers have versus the Wolves. Justin Coachman, see him there in his second stint coaching the Watertown Wolves. This is his second season of this second stint, and a disappointing one certainly for Watertown. Team that has struggled throughout the year to get anything offensively outside of their depth guys. They've struggled to keep the puck out of their net. They're giving up over 5 goals a game and have been for much of this season. So it's been a struggle in Watertown, and not something that the fans of Watertown hockey teams are very used to. Huber held on to that one, and Grant Mentis got a shove from Brett Lockhart. We mentioned him as a player to watch in the pregame show, Marquise Grant Mentis, and we'll see if he gets more attention from the Prowlers as this game continues to move along. We know if there's one thing the Prowlers hate more than losing, it's somebody touching their goaltender. Well, maybe they probably hate losing more than that, but it's right up there, somebody touching their goaltender. And they will go after anybody and everybody who gets too close to their netminder. Ryan Alexander with a head of steam, trying to slip through Zimmerman. Varava plays it up the boards, comes right to Larkin. On his backhand, John Larkin hands it off for Federley. Floated off the near side corner boards. Lockney over to the net, looking towards Alexander at his stick down. Zimmerman got it in the way. Graham, Alexander steps in front and couldn't find a spot as McCallum was sealing the post. Larkin drops the shoulder, circles back, cycled the puck deep, taken away by Zimmerman. Varava ran into Alexander. Tried to pop it out for Lockney. Has the puck now. Alexander and Gilbert battling. Alexander wins that one. Up top, Federley with a wrister punched out by McCallop. Off the boards and out by Corgan. Prowlers look to go right back up. Here's James with Anderson hustling to join him. James all the way across to Price. And he fanned trying to pass it back across to Blake Anderson, who is driving the back post. James had it poked back to Price. He cycles it deep, comes through to Anderson. Behind the net, hands off for James. Back to Anderson. Anderson turns the corner, has room, backdoor play looking for James. That hit a stick on the way through. Anderson up high to Organ, looking for James possibly, or Favaro, either way. Didn't work, and the Wolves able to clear, but only momentarily, as the Prowlers are looking to go right back up again. Anderson over to Organ. Dietrich now sidesteps a check. Favaro tossed down and around. Dustin Henning chased by Hakala. Fadiev reversed back for Bencic. Darian Bencic flies ahead into the Prowlers zone. Fadiev shot blocked and wrapped around the boards by Parsons. Samar tried to go back towards the net, couldn't do it. Here comes Dietrich. But a hand pass, I believe, the signal here. And we will take our final timeout. 4.5 to go in period one, 2-0 Prowlers.
Yeah, I don't know about this one, fellas.
Boys, we don't overcome adversity by backing down. But yeah, I don't know about this one.
That's reassuring.
We're so screwed.
All right, boys, here's a game plan. LJ, you start with bananas. B-Way.
Wait, why do I have to do the bananas?
Because you're the softest on the team.
I don't want the bananas.
This thing is gonna melt. We gotta hurry up.
I won't do it.
Okay, both of you. I will do the bananas and the whipped cream. Fets, please continue.
Who's paying for this anyway?
I am. I just bought my tickets for the Prowlers game this weekend, and the Milkhouse gave me 25% off my order.
Fets, why'd you buy the tickets? You're literally on the team.
For the discount.
So are you all ready to give it a try?
Oh, we're ready.
It's true. Get 25% off your entire order at the Milkhouse, October through April. Simply show your ticket stubs at checkout and enjoy your discounted treat.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
Tonight's washed up player of the game, presented by Chippewa Laundromat, is Brian Dunford. Chippewa Laundromat is Port Huron's only multi-generational laundromat. Dunford, 38 years of age, has spent parts of 6 FPHL seasons, dating all the way back to the league's first year in 2010-11, was with the Columbus River Dragons last year. Played parts of 9 years in Turkey for playing professional hockey. Spent most of this season in Germany's 6th division. That's right, there's at least 6 divisions of hockey in Germany. As McCallop makes a quick save on this Prowlers power play. As Marquise Grant Mentis is in the penalty box right now. Too many men on the ice against the Watertown Wolves, being served by Grant Mentis. That was actually the reason for the whistle. Here comes Dietrich to the net, just slid it wide. Newman on his backhand, just able to clear. The Prowlers on their second power play of the game. They're 0 for 1. Lockney back for Larkin. Over to Dietrich. He walks in, picks his spot, and a save made by McCallop. Millette able to keep it in. Larkin, Millette looking towards the net, off to Dietrich. Now Graham in front looking for Lockney. Blocked by Varava. He takes the puck and saucers it all the way down. Prowlers switch their unit here. Favaro, Price, Alexander, Anderson, and Hakala. Here comes Price. 45 seconds left in his team's power play. As he wraps it all the way around, Anderson makes a move. Gave it down low to Alexander. Back to Anderson. Up top, Favaro. Now it's Price. Hakela's right in front. Alexander behind that. Tried a quick wrap towards Hakela and couldn't find him. And the Wolves get another clear. Anderson up to Alexander. Alexander spins back. Works down the wall towards Hakela and couldn't get that shot through. And the Wolves clear once again. That should take care of the rest of the penalty. Again, being served by Grant Mentis. The Prowlers power play 0 for 2 now as Fadiev swung it towards the net. And Lucas Lockney works ahead. Gets it back from Graham. Lockney is in with a shot. Knocked down by McCallum. Rebound ends up on the far boards. Slid down by Lockhart. Now James twisting and turning away from Varava. Tried a handoff. Graham chases back after it. Up to Grant Mentis. Fadiev spins back. Trying to slide it towards the net. Only found Parsons' stick. Graham able to dump it in, and he heads off for a change. With a minute 42 left to go in period number 1, the Munger Physical Therapy first period. There's Dietrich, up top to Federley. Back to Dietrich, turning the corner, muscled off by Grant Mentis. Dietrich has the puck back. Dietrich trying to get around Zimmerman, who took him down. Loose puck grabbed by Varava. Dietrich back on the attack as Zimmerman slides it out. Off the glass, Hakela trying to chip around Varava, but it bounced over Dietrich's stick as he tried to take it to the net. Tyler in low. Austin Federley tried to push it up the boards. And it comes to Dietrich. Rink wide feed, Federley. Delaying, gets it over to Price fresh off the bench. Now it's Oregon, under a minute to go in period 1. Anderson to Price. Back for Anderson with a shot blocked by Dustin Henning. Anderson tied up with Samard. Centering feed, couldn't get through to Price. Larkin up to Price. Working downhill, in front, looking towards James. And it went off of Henning's skate. Price behind the net to Anderson. Anderson knocked down by Samard. Anderson still working for that puck. James sent it out, couldn't find a teammate. Huber comes all the way out, quick up, 1 second left, and that will do it for period number 1. So the two guys who scored 4 goals last night, Bobby Price and Grayson Dietrich, have scored so far. And they have one apiece, and the Prowlers have a 2-0 lead. Shots on goal in that opening period favored the Prowlers 11-3. And now we have Brady Beaton down at ice level alongside one of the Prowlers goal scorers from that opening frame, Bobby Price, as Bobby gets himself set up and ready to chat with Brady.
Down on the ice with Bobby Price. Bobby, you've been red hot this week, and your team has been. You guys didn't let up from last night. What have you guys been doing well for 4 periods?
Just contributes to how we work in the week. All these guys just work so hard during the week, and we're just out here showcasing it for the fans here.
You've been locked in personally. What about it? Have you felt like you've been in the zone all weekend?
This weekend, just kind of giving it to the faith, too. Like, it was faith and family night, and that's just kind of something I've been going with here.
All right, Bobby, what do you guys got to keep doing the last 2 periods?
Just keep going hard and keep doing what we do best.
I appreciate it. Good luck in the second.
Thank you.
Will, back to you.
Thank you, Brady. as that is Bobby Price. They have the dogs coming out for the dog race. We will have that for you live here on the PHP Network, and it's a great time to tell you about tonight's presenting partner of the game. The Blue Water Area Humane Society, a no-kill, full-service organization, is still a donation-supported partnership of people working together to ensure responsible care for and respectful treatment of companion animals in St. Clair County and the surrounding area. Find them if you want to adopt, volunteer, or donate. Well, the dog race is a great tradition that we have here at McMorran Place. Let's see if we can hear who all these dogs are.
All right, we've got them lined up. I'm going to go down the line here because I want to hear our racers' names.
Cheryl will take us through all of our racers here.
What's our dog's name? Boo. This is Boo, everybody. Hey. All right, who do we have here?
Louis Eugene.
Louis Eugene with his mohawk tonight. Oh, what is your name?
That's Winnie.
Winnie? All right. And who do we have here?
Raphael.
Raphael, he's got his Red Wings jersey on tonight.
And I know these ladies. We have Maple and Poppy J.
Maple and Poppy J. All right, racers. I got to get down here. I need eyeballs.
For those of you who know the history of the dog race here at McMorran Place, often dominated by Maple and Poppy J. And here they go. Oh, Maple and Poppy are going to come in 1 and 2.
We had a Poppy and a Maple.
What is Dalton J feeding his dogs over there?
Poppy and Maple hit that line real quick. Let's make some noise for Poppy.
There goes Poppy. All the way down to the other end. Brady Beaton has, I believe that's, I don't remember who that is, but there's a dog down there. Well, that was a lot of fun, and we will hear from somebody from the Blue Water Area Humane Society. Abby is going to come up and join me here for the first intermission to chat about the Blue Water Area Humane Society and everything that they do. We'll also have some storylines from around the FPHL, the out-of-town scores, and much more. All of that coming up right here on the PHP Network. Have you visited the Prowlers team store? It's located on the southwest end of McMorran Arena and has awesome gear for Prowlers and FPHL fans alike. You can find it also online at shop.phprowlers.com, and we deliver around the U.S. and around the world. Prowlers with a 2-0 lead through 20 minutes, about half the goal-scoring pace that they had last night, but still off to a good start. We'll be back here on the PHP Network.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rearview mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
What's more authentic than a Hungry Howie's Detroit-style pizza? Nothing. We're not playing around with the pizza of our birthplace. Thick crust, cheese to the edge, sauce on the top. Where it belongs. We've seen a lot of fakes out there. Not here. This is authentic Detroit-style pizza. Order yours now online for $12.99. We sauce the top and rep for the 313 everywhere. We do bold. Hungry? Howie's!
Hockey is like a business. One missed pass can derail the perfect plan. Have Taft Consulting help you get your whole team on the same page. They have the expertise to help you follow through on all your goals. Find out how they can help you today by emailing taftconsulting@outlook.com.
Hey, Spike, my hip meds are costing a fortune. My humans are stressed, and they're pretending it's fine.
You're not alone, Max. My humans are cutting back on my flea and tick meds.
Ugh, tell me about it. My thyroid pills were draining the kibble fund until we found Global Pharmacy Plus.
Online stores? Are they actually cheaper?
Way cheaper. They save my humans 40% or more compared to those other big online sites.
My humans can finally afford on premium treats again!
Congratulations on your engagement again, man. You know, you should get some life insurance.
I never really thought about that. How would I do that?
We can help you with that at Zach Egan State Farm. Congratulations on getting married, man. Have you gotten a house?
We just got one, actually, yeah.
Well, if you want, we can help you out with life insurance at Zach Egan State Farm to cover your mortgage. Is Olin a year old now?
He is.
Wow. Have you guys got life insurance set up on him yet?
I haven't even thought about it yet.
Oh.
How would I go about that?
Well, we can help you with that at Zach Egan State Farm. High five?
Yeah, hon, we should have gotten life insurance years ago.
Hey, Ken. We've actually got a policy for people your age at Zach Egan State Farm. Give us a call.
Explore the 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron. That is Michigan's Thumb Coast. Discover charming coastal towns, serene beaches, and endless outdoor adventures. Stay at cozy hotels, paddle through pristine blue waters, and hit the fairways along breathtaking views. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
Back here at McMorran Place, the Prowlers with a 2-0 lead over the Watertown Wolves through 20 minutes of play. Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network, along with Abby from the Blue Water Area Humane Society and one of our great racers here. Louie is up here.
He is. I think he won the race in my eyes, at least. That's all that matters.
You know what? I think he won best dressed. That's for sure.
Look at this dye job.
Look at that. The Prowlers colors and
tail and all, man.
Tail and all. He's looking good. So, but we're so excited to partner with the Humane Society. And first of all, I like to ask everyone who comes up here, how do you like your logo out there on the ice?
It is awesome. I've never seen it so big before. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Glad we can do that. And tell us a little bit more about the Humane Society and your role in it.
Yeah, so I work the front desk. But when I say I work the front desk, I also do pretty much everything else. I work with the dogs, with the cats. Usually during our busiest time of the year, we'll have about 160 cats. So we get very busy, especially this time of year. It's kitten season, so it's going to be a lot. But we are a nonprofit organization, so we get no government funding whatsoever. So everything is donation only. So people like the people that have showed up today and have donated are the reason that we are able to keep going and keep saving animals and giving them the treatment that they need.
Now, obviously, the people who are watching this, they were not able to make it today, but how can they come help you guys out?
Anything. So we have free range rooms for the cats. So even if you're not looking to adopt, you can always come out to the shelter, and we have 2 rooms, and you can just come in and hang out with the cats that are up for adoption, pet them, play with them, give them treats. We like to get them socialized just so that when they do get homes, they're not as timid and as nervous because they get used to the staff all the time, but new people is really good for them.
So what kinds of things are you looking for in donations?
So 100% clumping cat litter is a must. wet food, and it's called KMR. It's a kitten milk replacer. With kitten season coming up, we're going to have a lot of moms that people can't catch, and we'll get newborn kittens that need foster, and when they need foster, they need to be bottle fed. So KMR is a kitten replacer milk. We could use a lot of that. And just cleaning products, the boring stuff, bleach, laundry detergent. It's boring, but it's what keeps us running and keeps us clean. So.
And if people are looking to adopt, where can they find you?
So you can give us a call at 810-987-4357, and you can ask us how the process works. You can go onto our website. You just go on Google, type in Blue Water Area Humane Society. You can fill an application out online, which is super simple, and then you can email that over to us. Takes about 2 to 3 days to process, and then we give you a call and let you know if you're approved. And I'm seeing Odie on the screen right now.
Yep.
That is our paralyzed boy, our first paralyzed boy with his wheelchair. He's a great dog.
Odie up here on the screens here at McMorran Place. And yeah, I remember seeing that video a couple of weeks ago. And what's the latest on Odie?
So he's doing great. Actually, we had 2 really amazing foster parents that are taking care of him. He is paralyzed in his legs, but we are going to be taking him to therapy soon. The vet thinks that he is getting feeling back in his legs, which is absolutely amazing. The dog's only 2 years old. He's in a really good wheelchair. He's getting all the special care that he needs. And hopefully the fosters decide to keep, and I think they're going to. It's going to be a foster fail for sure.
Well, one more thing before I let you go. Where is your location, and where can people find you if they want to come drop things off?
Yeah, so we are at 6266 Lapeer Road. We're located in Clyde, Michigan. You can just come into the shelter, and if you have donations, just bring them right up to the front desk. We also do a lot of yard sales and charity sales, so you can bring household items and goods, and we sell those in like a flea market type thing, and all the proceeds go right back to us. So whether it's money you want to donate, cat litter, or just household goods, we'll take it all, and everything goes to the animals.
Well, thank you, Abby. Thank you, Louie, for coming up here and hanging out for a few minutes.
Yes, thank you.
Prowlers with a 2-0 lead over the Watertown Wolves, and I know Louie's a dog, but he's rooting for the Cats tonight.
Yeah.
And we will be right back with much more coming up here on the PHP Network.
Welcome to the new era of Prowlers hockey. New owner, new store, new horn, fire, projectors on the ice. Yeah, this isn't your dad's McMorran experience. This is Prowlers hockey. Get your tickets for the show now at phprowlers.com/tickets.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
From Prowlers Hockey. Shot. Back here in Port Huron, Prowlers with a 2-0 lead over the Watertown Wolves through 20 minutes of play. Will Wiggleman here with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Let's take a look at what's going on around the FPHL, and we start with our FPHL storylines. And last night, the Blue Ridge Bobcats became the 3rd team in the Empire Division to officially clinch their playoff spot. They got the win over the PD Ice Cats, a come-from-behind victory, and they officially clinched their spot in the 2026 Commissioners Cup playoffs. PD Ice Cats, meanwhile, they made a collegiate signing, actually out of juniors, which same rules apply as the collegiate signings, and that is Ivan Cooligan, who played for the New Jersey 87s in the Eastern Hockey League. Played juniors there, 62 points on 32 goals and 30 assists in 45 games this season for Cooligan, who was born in 2005, if that makes anybody feel old. But the Russian will now join the Ice Cats as they try and continue to get their spot locked in for the Commissioners Cup playoffs. Finally got a couple of suspensions from the Biloxi and Baton Rouge game last night. Separate incidents. Matt Stoya got suspended a game for spearing as he poked at a Zydeco player who was on the Zydeco bench. Stoya was on the ice. Can't do that. And Don Carter was an aggressor during a fight that broke out during that game as well. So they're each suspended for the rematch tonight. They will be back and eligible to play next week. And those are your Thumb Rust Control FPHL storylines. Well, the rest of the league has not started outside of one other game, but we will bring you our out-of-town scoreboard presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. And the only goal scored outside McMorran Place tonight in the FPHL so far belongs to Roman Kramer. It's 1-0 Thunderbirds through 20 minutes of play down in Winston-Salem. Twin City outshot Athens 19-4 in that opening frame. More games coming up tonight. The Binghamton Black Bears and the Danbury Hat Tricks will battle in Danbury. That one dropping the puck in just about 5 minutes from now. Black Bears edge the Hat Tricks 1-0 last night in Binghamton. Meanwhile, the Columbus River Dragons and Monroe Moccasins will drop the puck about 10 minutes from now. Monroe won a wild overtime game last night in Columbus. Ice Cats and Bobcats do it again. That puck drop scheduled for 7:30 p.m. Again, Blue Ridge with a comeback win over PD last night. And then in Minnesota, Topeka and Indiana go back at it as they will drop the puck at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And finally, the Zydeco and the Breakers again at 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time. As the Breakers got the win last night, Scarecrows also got a win. The first win in the first FPHL game in Minnesota. And that is your out-of-town scoreboard presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. Use code Prowlers for 15% off at Love After Hours. Turning our attention back to our game here tonight, let's take a look at our Gunther Graphics game stats from the game so far. Prowlers with the only 2 power plays of that opening period. They were unsuccessful on both. They are out shooting the Wolves 11-3, and they scored both of the goals that are on the board. At this time last night, well, they were up 4-0. But tonight, just 2-0. Again, still a really great start for a Port Huron team that gives up fewer than 3 goals per game and gave up just 1 to the Wolves last night. Both teams getting set to step back out onto the ice for this second period of play. We will see them hopefully in just a few moments. Linesman over at the door trying to coax the Wolves out of their locker room and out of the tunnel to hit the ice for period 2. And finally, they come out led by Marshall McCallop. McCallop making his 3rd start of the season, 4th appearance. He came in relief last night, relief of Rico Gonzalez. Ended up playing more than half the game, did McCallop. So far tonight, 9 saves on 11 Prowlers shots. As the rest of the Wolves head out, and now here come the Prowlers, led by Bailey Huber. Huber stopped all 3 shots that he faced in that first period. And another very uneventful period for the Prowlers netminder. Wolves totaled 13 shots last night, 3 in the first period and 5 in each of the second and the third. The 3 shots on goal tied for the second lowest Prowlers have allowed in any period this season, and also tied with period 1 last night. 13 shots on net they gave up last night, or the fewest they've given up in a game all year. Meanwhile, they hit a season high with 56 shots on the other side. So one goaltender was much busier last night than the other, and again in that first period, that same goaltender much busier. He's the one that was on the right of your screen, Marshall McCallop. Underway here for the Hungry Howie's second period, and the Wolves dump the puck deep in the Prowlers' end. Federley and Ryder squished along the boards. Fadiev and Millette trying to dig the puck free. Larkin in there as well. Popped out to Grant Mentis, but he couldn't handle it cleanly with Dietrich right on top of him. Dietrich slams on the brakes, tried to drop it back to Larkin. Said Ryder took it and sent it ahead to Fadiev on a breakaway, shut down by Huber. Well, Bailey Huber hasn't had much to do this weekend, but he was alert for possibly the most dangerous scoring chance by a Wolf all weekend. And it was Vladimir Fadiev searching for his first pro goal. Off this face-off in front of the penalty boxes. Dumped in and wrapped around, but icing called here against the Wolves. Or against the Prowlers, pardon me, so the face-off will come all the way down to Port Huron's end. I see Steve Gowdy trying to fix something in the ice, maybe some Gatorade or something caused a spot there on the ice. Puck down and sent all the way around to the near side. Samard at the top, lets it go, stick save by Huber as he directed it over to the corner. Heikola pulls the puck off the wall. Favaro drops it back to Organ. Now to Nick Favaro. Touched in, and it's McCallop wrapping it around towards Henning. Ahead to Bencic. Right across ice speed, knocked down, came to Samard. He works in, spins back. Samard trying to push through some checks. He and a Prowler went down. Meanwhile, the other way comes Port Huron, but Anderson trying to steal from Dunford, couldn't do it. McCallop played it off his own man, Dunford. James with a centering pass, hit a Wolf, and ended up going all the way back down to Prowler ice. Price over to Parsons, and now Lockhart starts it up. He missed Price with that pass. Goes all the way down, Gordon reaching after it. No icing here. James giving Dunford some trouble. Loose puck, Anderson, Price! Couldn't get it to go, it was blocked by Corgan. Anderson knocked to a knee. James getting to it, but it's poked away by Gordon, kept in by Anderson. Matthew Gordon, who was scratched last night, able to skate up with it. Gordon twists it towards the net. Ryder in the center, they score! Trevor Newman took the centering feed and fired it home. And the Wolves have cut the deficit in half. Good job by Watertown in the offensive zone as Newman was working right down the slot and able to get lost in the coverage a little bit. There you see Newman. Nobody on him as he worked in from up high. And Watertown is on the board, and this one is a hockey game. And what did I say a few times last night? The game starts 0-0 each time, and you never know what will happen in the second game of a back-to-back between the same two teams. You rarely get the same result or a similar result as you did the first night. Here's Millette. Trying to fire a pass towards Federley, ends up out of the zone. Larkin. Heikola. Now back to Federley. Off the window. Ryder looks to turn it back the other direction. Had his pocket picked by Dietrich. 4 Wolves back, and Grant Mentis pokes it off of Dietrich's stick. Larkin and Grant Mentis go after it. They cancel out. They continue to battle as Millette works up the right wing side. Millette dangles in, hands it off, tried for Heikola, and it pass was in his skates. Popped out to the middle, Millette turning and shooting, save McCallop, rebound Heikola, just couldn't get it to go. As that puck was bouncing, he poked it wide. Lockney turning on Varava. Graham looking in front towards Hakala, who was getting to the back door, couldn't get it through. Hall with a shot off a stick and up out of play, and a souvenir for somebody over in the suites up top underneath the Port Huron Flags banners. There's that turnover. Millette turned and looked like he was going to make a pass, and then McAuliffe had to make a save as Millette fired it on net, but R2 Hakala just couldn't get it to go as he poked it as the puck landed. Oregon over to Price. On to Luke James. Oregon back to Favaro. Oregon once more. All the way ahead to Anderson. Blake Anderson turns it in. Circles back. Anderson tied up with Gilbert. Benchich on for Hall. Favaro had his stick knocked out of his hands. Simard slid it in Gilbert's direction, and Oregon goes back to retrieve as both teams make changes. Parsons retreats away from Inlow. Parsons starts right up. He gets the red line, bounces it in. McAuliffe looking towards Simard, got through him. Dietrich picks it up high Parsons, and down towards Millette. He let it go through. Dietrich trying to cut to the middle. He was surrounded, and now it's Newman the other direction. Able to get his pass up towards Malsigov. Millette and Malsigov on that puck. In low, slid it up top. Dunford claps it towards Gordon. Gordon with a sharp angle try. That was stopped by Bailey Huber. Prowlers try and stretch it on for Hakala. Working on Gordon. Hakala spins back. Hakala with a shot. Save McAuliffe. He juggled it and was able to bat it over to Newman. Tossed out. Those pucks skated into by Dunford, and now Gordon. He gets the red line, fires it around, and Lockhart gets to it. Wolves finishing up a change. They have Zimmerman's defense pairing out there. Here come the Prowlers, 2-on-1. Lockney with Graham, and Graham just too quick to enter the offensive zone. Offsides called against Port Huron. Wolves have cut into the Prowlers' lead early stages of period 2. Well, the Prowlers are on the ice, so grab a glass of Proper 12 Irish whiskey. Proper 12, the official shot of the Port Huron Prowlers. Look at that. We have a giant blow-up Proper 12 bottle now here at McMorran Place. Saw the McMorran crew blowing that up the other day, and here it is making its debut for this Saturday night showdown between the Prowlers and the Wolves. These teams will face each other again this season. After this series, they'll wrap up the season with each other here at McMorran Place as Price tried to wheel it in front. Zimmerman knocked into his own goaltender by James. McAuliffe needs some help up. Meanwhile, Fadiev swipes the puck down deep in the Prowler end. And then Price sidestepped the check there from Zimmerman, who ran into his own man, Gilbert. McDonald and Anderson battling for it. Comes up to Larkin. Larkin getting down low, tried to sweep it in front, couldn't find Millette. Larkin lifted Gilbert's stick. Gilbert goes off the glass and out of the zone, and it's settled down by Federley in his own end. Larkin back to Austin Federley. They get it up to Millette, waiting at the Watertown blue line. Dietrich lost the handle, and here's Varava tossing the puck out. Right for Benchich. Knocked off his stick. Millette comes back for it. Millette wheels in with Dietrich. Millette floats it across. Federley right off the board, took the shot, just floated over top of the net. Federley again, slides it to Alexander off the bench. In the middle, looking for Hakala. Now it's Larkin backpedaling, looking and shooting, deflected, save McCallum. Prowler cutting through the slot, got a good stick on that shot. Changed the speed and direction. Here's Alexander back in, taking a look and shooting, and he missed wide. Good stick by the Wolves defense. Favaro at the top, sent it on. Alexander, a rip, hit the crossbar, and it goes up out of play. Ryan Alexander bidding for his first pro goal, had a couple of opportunities there. There it is, right off the crossbar. Alexander had 4 goals this year, his only season with Colorado College, after 3 at Arizona State NCAA Division I hockey. He was the late arrival, got here before the game last night. And now with finally a night to sleep after a long day of travel, here he is again with the puck. Alexander around the cage. Slides it down deep to Graham. Back to Alexander. Graham thinking about going in front, tried it. Came back to him. Oregon's D-to-D pass was cut off by Newman. Favaro swings it right up the wall. Graham touched it to an area. Dunford pulls it in. Just tossed it up in Inlow's direction. Corrigan cross corner dump. Newman and Favaro going for it. Anderson pops it out. All the way to the far side it goes. Zimmerman down to Inlow. Inlow looking in front towards Newman. That didn't work. Barava doing everything he can to keep Anderson from moving up ice. Couldn't keep Lockney though. Has Alexander with him. Lockney, Alexander couldn't bring in the pass. Played off the Zamboni door. Varava able to keep James from it for a moment. Those two tied up. Zimmerman spins around behind the net. Taken in by Price. Popped up in the air. Anderson to James, and they call the hand pass. 10:20 left to go in period 2. Referee waved it off, but the linesman must have had a better look at it because he called it. And we'll get a face-off right outside of the Wolves' end in front of the penalty boxes. See if we can get a good look at it here. Well, there's the hit actually earlier on by Price. Austin Federley tried to send it ahead. Grant Mentis tied up with Hakala. Federley over to Larkin. Sent ahead as we hit the midway point of the hockey game. Prowlers with a 2-1 lead. Much closer game than last night as Ryder tries to get to the net. Played it off of Huber's pads. And another save for Bailey Huber, his 7th of the game. Federley floats it ahead to Hakala. Spin up the boards. Alexander couldn't skate out with it. Right on goal and covered by Huber. 9:32 left in period 2. Still a 1-goal game here at Port Huron.
Hockey is like a business. One missed pass can derail the perfect plan. Have Taft Consulting help you get your whole team on the same page. They have the expertise to help you follow through on all your goals. Find out how they can help you today by emailing taftconsulting@outlook.com.
Explore 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron in Michigan's Thumb Coast. Begin your adventure on a blanket of golden sand at one of our serene beaches. Connect with the historic atmosphere of our region's nautical influence and reconnect with friends under a blanket of stars. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
Back here on the PHP Network, 2-1 Prowlers on top, and I got with me my parents' dog. Her name's Boo. She's about a 9-month-old English bulldog. You saw her; she ran fast in the intermission game, but she didn't quite run straight. Today we're having the Pucks and Pups game here to benefit the Blue Water Area Humane Society out on Lapeer Road. It's a donation-only shelter, a no-kill shelter that uses events like this to try to raise funds and help animals get adopted. So if you want to help out, go over to the Blue Water Area Humane Society. You can find them on Facebook, or you can head out there. They need donations of cash, kitty litter, kitten replacement milk, or whatever you can help out with. Again, they're donation only, and tonight's Pucks and Pups are to help out the Blue Water Area Humane Society. Will, back to you.
Back to me with a chance. Alexander is stopped by McCallum, bidding for his first pro goal. We've now met 2 of our participants in the dog race during the first intermission here on the PHP Network. Lots of fun to meet the dogs here in the building. I almost didn't make it back to the broadcast booth for the start of the broadcast because I was busy petting some furry friends. I will admit to that. Millette and Gilbert on this face-off to McCallum's left. Millette won it back. Oregon lets it go, and a blocker save made by McCallum. Poked around. Dietrich for Millette behind the net. 2 Wolves on Reggie Millette. It lands. Dietrich wheels, gets to the slot, and his shot off a stick and up out of play. Oh, nice catch from Austin Federley's brother up there. There she is. Post-dog race, and you don't have to be carried off like all great champions. End of the race, you have to be carried off because it's too much. You left it all out there, and now need some help as this one's floated to the corner. Lucas Lockney looking for an option, goes up high. Larkin down towards Lockney, kicked off his skate. They dig away. Inlow trying to kick it up the wall. Varava tossed towards Newman. Newman dumps the puck around. Larkin forced it right up the strong side. Newman tried to get it to the point, but Zimmerman wasn't there. Newman had it go off his stick. Lockney trying to chase for it. Varava gets there first, and he sends the puck all the way down and ices it. Looking for a pregame meal, Zip Sauce Burger is located in the Industrial Park Marathon. Zip Sauce, the official burger of the Port Huron Prowlers. Prowlers send Luke James's line out there. He'll take the draw against Tyler Inlow and win it back. Price a rip, hit Varava. Malsagov played it out to Newman. Trevor Newman wraps it all the way around. Anderson across to James. Sends it off the wall. Zimmerman back around, kept it at the point. Parsons down to Anderson behind the net, but it hit that darn Zamboni door that keeps causing all kinds of issues on that end. It's been rearing its ugly head all night. Newman steps in, wraps it around, and the Wolves get a wholesale change. Barava took it off of Anderson's stick. James plays it to himself. Here comes Luke James with a shot, just missed wide to the glove side of McCallop. Reggie Millette cuts across the red line. Oregon now. Tipped in by Hakala. Let's go Prowlers chant starting from some of the McMorran crowd. Simard almost lost it to Dietrich. Grant Mentis starts up ice. Steps around Millette. Here comes Grant Mentis. Drops it for Fadiev. His shot missed wide by a couple of feet. Henning back off the wall. Dustin Henning scored the only goal for the Wolves last night. He made it 11-1. As Dietrich tripped up there. Prowlers bench wants a penalty they won't get. Millette couldn't hand it off. Sent all the way up to Benčić, wheeling in alone. And Oregon came back to defend, and he gets caught for the hooking penalty. So the Wolves will go to the power play with 6:16 left to go in period number 2 in a 1-goal game. So the fans not happy with that one, as it came just seconds after what they thought should have been a penalty against the Wolves when Dietrich was taken down. Instead, it's the Watertown power play that gets onto the ice. That was 0 for 1 last night. Both power plays were 0 for 1 last night in a relatively penalty-free affair. Each team finished with just 4 penalty minutes on the night. Grant Mentis with a shot stopped, rebound, another save. Huber lays back, and he has it. Oh, the Prowlers will get some fresh killers on the ice. Nice save from Bailey Huber, and the fans in Section 9 getting up and getting loud. As face-off won back by the Prowlers. Brett Lockhart off the boards and all the way down. Gordon dangling, lost it, and turned all the way back down again by Lockhart. Barava for Grant Mentis, looking to fly up the wing. Now he cuts in. Grant Mentis in with some speed, takes the shot, rose it over top of the cage, hit the glass, and rode up out of play. Minute 11 left on the hooking penalty to Tim Organ. Marquise Grant Mentis was bidding for one there. He tried to just do it all himself. Different unit on for Watertown. Gilbert got it down to Newman. Newman, Gilbert, Inlow, Reiter, and Fadiev. This unit for Watertown as the puck cleared all the way down to McCallop. McCallop gave it away. Millette claps it and missed the net. Oh man, Marshall McCallop just put it right on Millette's tape. And Reggie Millette maybe trying to be a little bit too fine on the shot as McCallop was getting back to the goal crease, trying to make sure he didn't hit McCallop as Fadiev was stopped by Huber. Just missed wide. Inlow Down the wall, cut off by Lockhart. Brett Lockhart takes a look at the clock. Goes an indirect feed for Millette. All the way around the cage. One hands it up towards his bench. Favaro. Cross corner dump as the penalty has expired. And we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Prowlers PK survives the first challenge. Zimmerman straight on with a shot. That's blocked. Hall tried to work down the boards. Zimmerman hands off for Varava. On goal, blocked by Parsons. Parsons up the strong side. Graham couldn't get it out. Parsons trying to slip past Malsagov. Alexander up to Lockney. Now the Prowlers get out. Lockney couldn't get his pass to Graham, and McCallum covers up for a whistle and a face-off. 3:34 left to go in period 2. Wolves power play 0 for 1. Still a tight game in Port Huron.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rearview mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
What's more authentic than a Hungry Howie's Detroit-style pizza? Nothing. We're not playing around with the pizza of our birthplace. Thick crust, cheese to the edge, sauce on the top. Where it belongs. We've seen a lot of fakes out there. Not here. This is authentic Detroit-style pizza. Order yours now online for $12.99. We sauce the top and rep for the 313 everywhere. We do bold. Hungry Howie's.
Back here in Port Huron, Prowlers with a 2-1 lead. Aiden Vision sliding down in front of the bench there. You see 3 suits there on the bench. Alex Johnson, Chris Paulin, and the one on the right next to Brandon Rivers, one of our great photographers. That's Ben Brockway, who was given special permission, I guess, to be behind the bench for the Prowlers this weekend. Brockway unavailable this weekend. Prowlers certainly hope to have him back by the time the playoffs roll around, or maybe next week. Either way, as Federley sent it towards the net, sticked away by McCallum. Alexander for Federley, walking in, toe drag, Federley! Stopped by McCallum. Austin Federley tried to put himself on a highlight reel and maybe just lost the angle. Marshall McCallum able to make the save, take another look. Federley, beautiful toe drag around Zimmerman, then Federley, wait, and McCallum stayed right with him. Here's Larkin with a chance towards the net. Punched up by McCallum as it hit a stick on the way through. Millette tied up with Reiter behind the cage. Grabbed by Samard. Up to Fadiev. Grant Mentis steps over the blue line. Grant Mentis knocked down. Reiter put his arm up in the air, but he's not wearing stripes, so he can't call penalties. Reiter couldn't pop it out to the middle, and now Millette settles things down. Goes for a long lead pass, hit Dietrich. Dietrich and Henning going after it. Now Fadiev up to Grant Mentis at the Prowler blue line, but he couldn't bring it in cleanly. Now Larkin up to Millette, kicks it up to his stick. Millette looking towards Hakala. Millette was tripped up. A whistle blows, but it's for offsides. So face-off will be outside of the Watertown end. 2.5 left to go in period 2. We take another look here as Millette went tumbling, and there were some Wolves sticks down in the feet area of Reggie Millette. Maybe they got puck first, and that's why they didn't call anything. But either way, stays 5-on-5 as Dunford dumps it all the way around. Anderson popped it off the boards. Now here comes Price, one-on-one against Inlow. Price takes the shot, stopped by McKillop. Rebound, batted up to Newman. Looking for Malsigov, that didn't work. Anderson for Favaro. Inlow battling, he comes up with the puck. Tyler Inlow around to Malsigov. Malsigov taken in by Organ, able to hand off to Newman. James trying to dig away. Still tied up along the boards. Minute 20 left to go in this second period. Finally, it comes free. Price has Anderson joining him. Here's Anderson on his backhand, sent it right through and past McKillop. Anderson ran into Dunford. That puck right along the boards, pulled out by Alexander. Lockney gets back to the puck. Lockney again, looking in front. Graham let it go. The one-timer blocked by Benčić. Graham looking, shooting, and a glove save by McKillop. Well, coming up on the second intermission report right here on the PHP Network, we'll have highlights and analysis from this game so far. Take a look at Keeley's Corner, the out-of-town scores, and much more. All of that coming up here on the PHP Network. Alexander and Hall in on this face-off. Puck is down, and it's Varava off the boards and out. Huber plays it around for Larkin. He's taken in immediately by Gilbert. Now Alexander finds some space. Ryan Alexander wheels in. Alexander over to Lockney. Back across. Kicked on net. And a kick save made by McKillop. As this one is sent all the way down, and icing called against the Wolves with 11.3 to go. And one last chance here for the Prowlers. They have Millette's line out there. Millette will draw against Hall. Still waiting here on this face-off between Millette and Hall. Hall may be taken out of the face-off. Actually, he'll stay in. Puck is down, comes to the line. Favaro knocked it down. Millette tried to throw a check on Varava. Puck sent all the way down, and that will do it for the second period here at McMorran Place. And hey, there's the James family and some of my family there. LJ's Fam Club is here. You're on the PHP Network. Prowlers with a 2-1 lead. And the LJ Fam Club is having a lot of fun here. Shots in that middle period favored the Prowlers 12-11. They're up 23-14 in that category for the game so far. And once again, coming up in the second intermission report right here on the PHP Network, we will take a look at some highlights and analysis from the first 40 minutes. Get our latest edition of Keeley's Corner, the out-of-town scores, and much more. It's all coming up right here on the PHP Network. But our Brady Beaton is standing alongside Blake Anderson, who's playing in his 100th career FPHL game.
Down here on the ice with Blake Anderson in his 100th game. Blake, you know, that second period was the one where you haven't outscored Watertown. What happened in that period that maybe was happening in the first 4 of the weekend?
I think we're just not working as hard as we want to be working. You know, we're not really getting the bounces, and it's just not really going our way right now. We just got to push through and, you know, follow the system and get pucks deep and just work a little bit harder here.
You know, going into this third period, you know, you were able to cruise last night. You're in a battle, a 2-1 game. What do you guys have to do to ramp up the intensity a little bit and make sure you get all 6 points?
I mean, yeah. We definitely got to, you know, come together right now as a team, and just like I said before, we got to work a little harder, and we'll start to get the bounces and things will start going our way. So yeah.
Blake, I appreciate it. Good luck in the third period.
Thank you.
Will, back up to you.
Thank you, Brady. Again, that's Blake Anderson playing in his 45th game as a Prowler and 100th in the FPHL. He is back in the lineup tonight after he got a day off last night. Secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game. That is on Friday, April the 10th, when the Prowlers go retro and play as the Port Huron Flags. We will have Flags alumni in the building for that one. Throwback retro-themed jerseys that will be available for auction after the game, and it will be a lot of fun. It's against these same Watertown Wolves. Puck drop is scheduled for 7:05 p.m. You can get your tickets at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or scan the QR code on your screen now. That's online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or scan the QR code now to get your tickets to Port Huron Flags Night. We'll have some of those guys whose numbers are hanging on the walls here in the building, along with some other alumni from the old Port Huron Flags days. There's some of those banners up on the walls. I know we'll have number 3 Jim Benetine up here, but again, it should be a lot of fun when the Flags come back to town. And again, the retro jerseys will be on your Port Huron Prowlers. We'll take a break and talk about this game tonight. More when we come back on the PHP Network.
Come on, guys, hop in.
We're not getting in that thing. That thing's gross.
Yeah, I wore my nice pants today. This thing could use a detail.
Well, I don't know. Do you know anybody who could detail a boat? I think that guy could.
Hi, I'm Logan from Ballard's Detail. I can detail your boat.
From oxidized and faded to smooth and glossy, our professional compounding and waxing process will get your boat looking new again. Contact us today at 810-956-8318. Visit us on Facebook at Ballard's Detail LLC.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rearview mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
Hello, I'm home.
There he is.
What is happening?
Relax. We won. They brought back the snack wrap. Spicy or ranch?
Spicy.
Yeah, go. Just one little bite.
Can you stop?
Oh, sorry.
Gather your crew. Snack wrap is back.
This isn't working. LJ, pass me those flyers. No look behind the back pass? It's a whole play. I'll say, come on. Gap up. Close the gap. Close the gap. What are we saying? This isn't working. We need a shift change. Let's bring in the professionals.
Head over to the Birchwood Mall for your shopping and entertainment needs. Hop on the carousel, shoot some hoops, or visit some of their great stores such as Gerlach's Woodworks, where they specialize in handcrafted wooden decorations. Add to your fan cave a Prowlers themed creation. Upgrade your bathroom at Luxury Bath Mobility Remodelers. They can fully customize your bath or shower to fit your needs, and they also do flooring. For the sports fan in your life, pick up a unique gift from Pro Edge Sports. Jam-packed with all kinds of memorabilia. There's something for everyone. And it's not a trip to the mall without Auntie Anne's pretzels. Grab a freshly made full-size cup of pretzel bites and wash it down with some frozen lemonade. At the Birchwood Mall, you can find this and more. Visit them on 24th Ave in Fort Gratiot.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hi guys, we just stopped at Industrial Park Marathon to get some fuel and some snacks before the Prowlers game at McMorran.
Nice. Yeah, we just stopped by here at Industrial Park Marathon so I can get a Slurpee before the game.
Wait till after the game. If the Prowlers score 3 or more goals, Slurpees will be free.
Thanks for the info. I'm going to get my Slurpee after, but we'll see you at the Prowlers game.
See you at the game. Go Prowlers!
Yeah, I don't know about this one, fellas.
Boys, we don't overcome adversity by backing down. But yeah, I don't know about this one.
That's reassuring.
We're so screwed.
All right, boys. Here's the game plan. LJ, you start with bananas.
Wait, why do I have to do the bananas?
Because you're the softest on the team.
I don't want the bananas.
This thing is gonna melt. We gotta hurry up.
I won't do it.
Okay, both of you. I will do the bananas and the whipped cream. Fets, please continue.
Who's paying for this anyway?
I am. I just bought my tickets for the Prowlers game this weekend, and the Milk House gave me 25% off my order.
Fets, why'd you buy the tickets? You're literally on the team.
For the discount.
So are you all ready to give it a try?
Oh, we're ready.
It's true. Get 25% off your entire order at the Milk House, October through April. Simply show your ticket stubs at checkout and enjoy your discounted treat.
Back here at McMorran Place, through 40 minutes of play, the Prowlers have a 2-1 lead now on the Watertown Wolves. Will Wiggleman alongside Brady Beaton with you here at McMorran Place. Brady, my first question to you is, how many dogs did you pet? Oh, that big one on the screen, that one has spent a lot of time in my house recently. That is Bobby Price's girlfriend holding the leash there. I've met that one. That one's Arlo. Very good boy.
A lot of dogs out there. It's been great to see, yes, giving a lot of love to them. And honestly, very well behaved. I thought you'd hear a lot more barking throughout the ring tonight. You really haven't heard too much.
Yeah, just the occasional bark here and there. But again, a great Pucks and Pups night. Congratulations on the performance for you guys out there on the ice.
Yeah, Boo tried her best. It was a lot of effort. Now we have to focus that effort and energy, right?
A lot of training.
Yes, she was very quick, just not very accurate with her route.
Yes, you know what? I think half the battle is running straight.
Exactly.
That's what you learn.
Hey, you can't coach effort.
Yeah, and you know, it's tough when you're going against some dog race veterans in Mabel and Poppy J. Who
we're going to need to, bump them up or at least give someone else a chance at the crown. They're like 5-time defending champs.
Yeah, we'll have to send them to a higher level maybe. Maybe they'll go to the ECHL dog races.
Right. Send them to the walleye Pucks and Pup race.
Yeah, see that?
Yeah, see, Boo had a lot of effort, and she's never met her in her life, so that was she just found the camera.
That's good. A little camera ham there.
Right? Yeah, just an absolute brick of a dog, too.
Well, when the dogs weren't on the ice, the Prowlers were, and obviously this game a lot closer than last night. Let's take a look back at the highlights. Start with the first goal of the game, and it came early, and it was Grayson Dietrich again, and what a start to his pro career this weekend.
You know, last night in the locker room, he thanked all the other guys, said, yeah, 3 of them were tap-ins. This one was not. This is picking a corner, and I know he gets it in a grade A spot, but that's showing off the skill, putting it in that top right corner, going top shelf. That's showing off some of the skills and why the Prowlers were so excited to sign him.
So Dietrich with the goal that comes just a minute 34 in. Of course, we had the fight before that, just on the first shift with Justin Jamer and Adam Zimmerman. I almost forgot about that. But it was 1-0 there, and then Bobby Price, the other guy who scored 4 goals last night. He makes it 2-0.
Yeah, 5 goals on the weekend now for Bobby. And again, picking the corner. And at this point, Will, I think we had the same thought of, all right, let's kick our feet up. And the Prowlers are going to cruise to another victory. We don't have to really think too much on this one.
So it was 2-0 at that point and going into the second period. But then the Wolves were able to strike, although we'll go back and show you why the Prowlers are playing a man down for this game, as Justin Jamer had his jersey come off during that spirited bout. Jamer just his second pro game, and a lot of punches, said a lot of offense, not much defense in that fight against Adam Zimmerman.
Yeah, and it wasn't the fight the reason he got the game misconduct. It was the equipment violation. I know I had some people asking me about that, but yeah, because his jersey wasn't tied down and so easily pulled up over his head, that's why he got the game, not the fight. If his jersey was tied down, he would have just had 5 minutes. But that was a nice tilt between those two.
So after the fight and the 2 Prowler goals, it was 2-0 through 20 minutes, and then the Wolves got themselves on the board, and Trevor Newman just kind of got himself lost in the coverage, and the Prowlers couldn't find him, and Newman was able to find the back of the net.
Yeah, and I think the Prowlers, after that first period and being up 2-0, and I'm not saying it's right or it's an excuse, but after you have outscored a team 14-1 through 4 periods, outshot them by about 50, it's hard to stay focused. I mean, that takes a lot of mental resolve to play like it's a 1-0 game, and in a spot where you have a lot of things almost clinched, and Watertown doesn't have a ton to play for. I think that's what you saw, and you saw Blake talking to me about, was trying to find that edge that maybe they lost in that second period.
So let's take a look back at that goal, and we'll stop it right here. And we've talked about puck watching before, but you see it, Newman, he kind of meandered into the offensive zone, and here he is right here. And Newman has all kinds of space, a lane to the net here, as the Prowlers don't pick him up. You see 2 Prowlers looking at the puck here, and then 2 more are down deep, but nobody's up top on Trevor Newman. Our 5th Prowlers over here engaged with another Wolf, so play it a little bit longer here. And you see Newman just able to sneak down the slot and get a grade A scoring chance.
Well, that's also a pass that got fed through some traffic as well. It wasn't a clean sight line to him, but a pass that avoids a couple skates, sets up in a high real estate district.
So Newman made it 2-1 at that point, and from there, well, the goaltenders did their jobs, and Bailey Huber and Marshall McCallum have come up with some big saves throughout this game.
Yeah, and they've settled in, and I give Watertown a lot of credit, Will. This is a team that very easily could have mailed it in, and I think they kept playing hockey, and they didn't let the 2-0 deficit affect them. They're still getting outshot 23-14 after 2 periods, but we've seen teams in this league before kind of mail in the weekend. They haven't done that, so tip of the cap to Watertown. There are teams that this would be a 6-0 game right now.
And it is very great to see for the Watertown Wolves and their fans, because last night it had looked like that they kind of mailed in the season.
Yes.
They gave Rico Gonzalez little to no help back there on the defensive side.
I mean, you're getting outshot 33-3 at one point. I don't care if you go get prime Patrick Waugh, you're going to put him in a tough spot, getting outshot 11-1.
And, but tonight, again, it looks like, you mentioned, it looks like a much different Wolves group out there on the ice, and a group of players that really are fighting for something, which is, again, great to see for a team that's already been eliminated from playoff contention. But that's something we've seen from the Indiana Sentinels, who have been eliminated from playoff contention, but they've continued to battle, and they've been a really tough team throughout this season, even though they've had very little chance of making the playoffs for most of the year.
Yeah, and part of that is because I think the guys know that they're not just playing for the pride, which is also a big part being a professional athlete. They're playing for a spot next year. Hey, maybe they don't want to be on a team that's 6th, maybe 7th in the division. They want to be on a team that's in a playoff chase right now. Well, you show what you can do now, and hey, come those conversations in June and July, maybe some of those playoff teams are more apt to find a spot for you, showing what you're doing even when there's not a lot to play for besides pride.
Well, the guys on the ice for the Prowlers are playing for their spots on the Prowler playoff roster. But the Dogs are out, not just on the ice on the visitors' bench, but also up in the stands on Pucks and Pups Night with the Blue Water Area Humane Society. We'll be right back with much more coming up on the PHP Network.
Welcome to the new era of Prowlers hockey. New owner, new store, new horn, fire, projectors on the ice. Yeah, this isn't your dad's McMorrin experience. This is Prowlers hockey. Get your tickets for the show now at phprowlers.com/tickets.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
On Prowlers hockey, presented by mental shot of the Port Huron Prowlers. It's Pucks and Pups Night here at McMorrin Place. Shout out to the Blue Water Area Humane Society for partnering with us to put on this great event. And here we have lots of fans bringing donations and getting awareness of the Humane Society and all the good that they do for the animals in our community. Let's take a look at what's next for the Port Huron Prowlers. Our Keeley's Corner, presented by Full Metal Mel, is the Prowlers' upcoming schedule. We have another coaches show coming up on this Wednesday, April the 1st. That's right, flip the calendar to April. On Wednesday, it will be our final regular season coaches show, so be sure to come out for that. And then the Prowlers will hit the road to Binghamton and Danbury next weekend. We'll have both of those games right here on the PHP Network. Then the final weekend of the regular season, these same Watertown Wolves are back here at McMorrin Place. 7:05 game on that Friday, April 10th, and that is the Flags Throwback Night with throwback jerseys, Flags alumni in attendance, and much more. And then on the 11th, final home game of the regular season, 6:05 p.m. game, Fan Appreciation Night. We'll have all kinds of giveaways and fun stuff as well. Keep locked in on the Prowlers social media channels for more information on those giveaways. It's also the last Mitz's Kids Zone night of the season. That is your Keeley's Corner and the Prowlers' upcoming schedule. Well, let's take a look at what's going on around the FPHL. More than one other game is in action right now, unlike the first time we checked in on the Love After Hours out of town scoreboard. We start in Winston-Salem, the game that started the same time as ours. And right now, Roman Kramer has 2 for the Thunderbirds. Eric Neely has the 1 for the Rock Lobsters. It's 2-1 Twin City heading into the third. In Danbury, the Hat Tricks have a 2-1 lead on the Black Bears through 20 minutes of play despite being outshot 15-5. Chance Adrian and Konstantin Chernyuk have the goals for the Hat Tricks. Ivan Bondarenko scored for the Black Bears. And already more goals in that game than they had last night in Binghamton. 3 times as many goals to be exact. River Dragons getting goals from FPHL points leader Tyler Barrow, along with Bradley Fortin in the first period. They're up 2-0 on the Monroe Moccasins. And midway through the first in Virginia, Brendan Colgan's in between the pipes for the Ice Cats. Craig Hussey for the Bobcats, couple of former Watertown Wolves. And it is still scoreless in that one. Coming up in just a few minutes, from Thief River Falls, Minnesota. The Topeka Scarecrows and the Indiana Sentinels battle for the second of two neutral site games. They're the first two games ever played in Minnesota. Scarecrows took the victory last night 4-1. And the Biloxi Breakers and Baton Rouge Zydeco continue their rivalry. 7:05 p.m. puck drop from the Mississippi Coast Coliseum. Out of Town Scoreboard is presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. Use code Prowlers for 15% off at Love After Hours. Now it's time for one last look at the Gunther Graphics game stats for this game so far. As the Wolves are hitting the ice, Prowlers out shooting the Wolves 23-14 through these 40 minutes of play. Power plays are combined 0 for 3, and it's a 2-1 Prowlers lead. And you see the Prowlers hitting the ice again in those specialty Paw Patrol themed jerseys here tonight. And you see all the scratches in the background as well. They were led out by that man, Bailey Huber, who has stopped 13 of 14 shots that have come his way. Already more shots on goal for the Wolves tonight than they had all of last night. Marshall McCallum on the other side has made 21 saves on 23 shots. As those two get set, as they took more of the spotlight tonight. Last night it was the Prowlers offense. Tonight the goaltending has been strong on both ends. Justin Coachman's club has lost 8 straight games, 13 of their last 14. Trying to get back in the win column. 20 minutes up on the board, Ryder and James will see the puck dropped between them to begin the CJ's third period right here on the PHP Network. Thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday night as Marquise Grant-Ventus replaces Ryder, and now we're underway for the third period. Here's James off to Anderson, quick shot, and it's swallowed up by Marshall McCallum 9 seconds into period 3. Bobby Price, the Prowlers goals leader, 26th of the year, scores 26th of the year tonight. His line sticks out there as Ryder, or now Fadiev and James take this face-off. So Brad Ryder has now been tossed out of 2 face-offs in the first 9 seconds of period 3. Here's James looking in front. Anderson, the one-timer, stopped by McCallum, and James tried to send it back to the point. Went off a stick and out of play, and a souvenir for somebody over in section 6. So we'll get a face-off down in Watertown's end. Both teams make changes. Reggie Millet's line on for Port Huron, and Darian Benchic's line for the Watertown Wolves. Hunter Hall will take the face-off against Millet. Barava pitches it up the boards. Gilbert, lead pass looking for Benčić. That didn't work. Now Hakala for Larkin. Spinning away from Gilbert. Federley couldn't get much on that pass. Here comes Hall, hands it off, and missing the net from right in tight was Gilbert. Federley just able to bat that puck out. It slides all the way down for an icing. Great chance there for Watertown as Federley just didn't get everything he wanted on that pass. Matthew Gilbert, how do you miss from there? Right in front of the net. So the Prowlers will try to escape their own end here. You see Alex Johnson taking a look at the iPad on the bench. I've heard that Johnson is a big fan of that iPad that we've been able to put on the Prowler bench about a month or so ago. So now they can watch everything back in real time. Here's a float pass towards Heikkila. He has to recollect in the corner. Cycled it down deep towards Dietrich. Millette left it there for Grayson Dietrich. 2 Wolves on him, and Gilbert comes up with it. Tried to go to Hall, cut off. Dietrich turning the corner. Dietrich looking, shooting off the stick of Henning, and up out of play. As Dustin Henning was able to get his twig on the shot from Grayson Dietrich. Scored the game-opening goal tonight, just a minute 34 into the game. Ryan Alexander and Tyler Inlow will be in on this draw. Alexander won it back clean. Organ tossed it over to the far side. Gordon pushed it this way. Dunford up to Corgan. Newman couldn't glove it down. Favaro around to Organ. Graham couldn't slip it through. Here's Inlow on his backhand. Cycled the puck deep. Corgan. Now Inlow up high. Matthew Gordon to the net. Changed direction and missed. Lockney able to chop at it. And here comes Alexander working on Gordon. Ryan Alexander, a rising shot, fought off by McCallop. Glove down. Anderson able to take control. For Alexander, sharp angle try, and McCallop able to make the save. Price up top, he scores, but no goal because Marshall McCallop's helmet came off. He left the net to go talk to Steve Gowdy. McCallop lost his helmet. Let's take another look here. I think it was on Ryan Alexander's shot that McCallop lost it. Well, McCallop just pulled his helmet off and started skating over to Steve Gowdy, and that's when the puck went in the net. Chris Paulin trying to get an explanation over on the Prowler bench. It's not like he shook off the helmet. He literally pulled it off with his blocker. You see it right there. I don't know if it was loose or something, but Prowlers will not get the benefit of this call, and it stays 2-1. Now the referees are supposed to blow the play dead when the goaltender's helmet comes off. That is, the rule, and that's for safety purposes. But typically when you see that, it's because the goaltender actually shook their helmet off because it came loose. I don't know if I've ever seen it because the goaltender actually pulled his helmet off with his blocker. That is new. We'll have to see if we can get the explanation from Coach Paulin about that in our post-game interview with him. Puck went up out of play here. Again, you see McCallop there just take his helmet off. And again, there must have been something wrong with it, but I mean, I don't know how much was wrong with it if he couldn't shake it off. Millette and Gilbert in on this face-off. Puck sent all the way down to Prowler territory, no icing, so Huber leaves it behind the nets for Larkin. Austin Federley. Long lead pass ahead to Dietrich, working on Zimmerman. Dietrich drops the shoulder trying to get to the net, and McCallop played it away with his goal stick. Hall couldn't bring in the pass. Millette, Dietrich, dangles and moves it up this way to Larkin. Millette, straight on, nice move around Benchich. And he tried to pass over to Dietrich, but didn't get there cleanly. Millette, Larkin, walking the blue line, taking the shot, and that just missed wide, may have changed direction. Dietrich hands it off for Larkin, Prowlers buzzing. Larkin, Millette, one-timer, didn't get through, as I think the Wolves were able to stymie that, and Watertown gets a big change. Slid all the way down, and Henning, the first one there to get the icing call, as Austin Federley's pass missed its intended target. So the draw will come all the way back down to Bailey Huber's end. Wolves still searching for their first shot on goal this third period. Kick to the middle and slid out of the zone. Prowlers have 4 shots on net in the third period so far. As Favaro gives it up to Organ. Slid out. Henning was pinching in. Couldn't get to the puck though. Here's Alexander walking in. Makes a move to the outside. Alexander centered behind Lockney. Comes up to Favaro. His shot tipped wide. And Organ able to keep it alive. Organ knocked down to his knees. And here comes Inlow. Favaro taken in by Newman. Popped out, Gordon for Ryder with a sharp angle shot. And that was stopped by Huber, just got a piece. Organ up to Graham. Now Favaro. Retreats back to Organ. Had Fadiev coming in on him. Fadiev with the steal, turns it towards the front of the net. And Organ able to take over and lift it out. Prowlers escape that turnover, but they ice the puck. We will take a timeout. Face-off coming all the way back down to Bailey Huber's end. When we come back, Port Huron still with a 1-goal lead. Bailey Huber coming up with another big save.
Hi, what can I get for you?
I'd like some McMorrin fries, please.
All right, that's going to be $4. Okay.
She shoots, she scores with the new Prowlers debit card.
Don't you have somewhere to be? The game's on.
Get your Prowlers debit card only at Flagship Community Federal Credit Union, located on Lapeer Road in Port Huron. Flagship Federal Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA. Back here at McMorrin Place, Prowlers fans getting up and getting loud here on Pucks and Pups Night. And based on the noise that I've heard in the building tonight, seems like all the dogs have been good. Crowd of 1,670 officially listed for tonight's game. Ryder gave it on for Fadiev. Couldn't make his way to the net. Parsons chips it around to Anderson. Able to get it out. Price hustling to it. He'll beat Dunford there. Price around. Tried to pass it off for James. Came to the point. That was blocked by Dunford. And tipped along. Fadiev on a breakaway. Huber stops him again. Second breakaway for Fadiev. Second breakaway save for Bailey Huber. Fadiev back on it. Turning. Vladimir Fadiev gets to a scoring area, and a save made again by Bailey Huber. And up comes Blake Anderson with James. Anderson, outside move, tried to get it on net, but Varava muscled him off the puck. Floated all the way up towards Benchich. Comes into Prowler territory. Larkin wheels around the net. He has skating room. John Larkin lost an edge as he pulled up. Back the other way comes Gilbert, but he gave it away to Larkin. Dietrich chips it past Varava. Dietrich and Varava come together. Gilbert right up the boards. Federley handles it there. Sends it back down deep. Millette in front. Hakala holding and shooting. Save made by McKellop. Zimmerman wraps it all the way around. Hakala chips it by Millette, working in with Dietrich. Millette delays. All 5 Wolves back as Millette rips one. That's stopped and held by McKellop. As the Prowlers get an offensive zone face-off here. Call Frazier Building Company at 810-364-2766 or visit FrazierBuildingCompany.com for all of your construction needs. From thought to finish, together we build a home. Alexander and Inlow in on this draw. Alexander won it back with help from Graham. Lockney grabs the loose puck. Up high, D to D, Oregon with a wrister missed wide. Alexander takes it. Cycled towards Graham, popped up in the air, glove down. Lockney now to Graham, looking in front. Couldn't get through to Alexander. And Newman skates out of his own end. Corrigan knocked down Favaro. In low now. 3 Prowlers, 2 Wolves digging away. Alexander able to pull it out of the pile, chips it around to Lockney. He couldn't find Graham. Newman took a hit. Puck batted around, and it's Favaro behind his net. Alexander starts up. Now to Graham. Steps in, but had it taken off his stick. Here comes Corrigan. Right wing side shot blocked. Ryan Alexander up the boards and out. Dunford gave it across, tipped in by Gordon. Under 11.5 to go in regulation. Prowlers with a 1-goal lead. Lockhart looking to stretch it up to Price. Has him with James going to the net. Price pulls up and shoots. Fought off by McKellop. Grant Mentis the other direction. Parsons chases after the dump. Right up the near side boards. Grant Mentis now. Fed it across. Shot comes in. Change direction. Huber the save. And Grant Mentis and Price are going at it. Marquise Grant Mentis put his stick in Bailey Huber. And Bobby Price was taking none of that. Grant Mentis is actually without his gloves or stick. Price still has both his stick and gloves. Take another look. There's the whack from Grant Mentis, and there's Bobby Price going right after Marquise Grant Mentis and Bobby chants from the crowd here at McMorran Place. Those two the only ones in the penalty boxes. Dustin Henning and Austin Federley, the captains for their respective teams, getting the explanations. Looks like the Prowlers will be 1 up here. Based on the indication from Austin Federley, 2 up on Marquise Grant Mentis' side. Will be the 3rd power play of the game for the Port Huron Prowlers. They're 0 for 2. send out the unit of Graham, Lockney, Millette, Dietrich, and Larkin. Chris Corrigan heads over to serve the extra 2 for Grant Mentis. And off the face-off win, the Prowlers set things up. Dietrich looking towards the cage, off to Larkin, down to Millette. Larkin, one-time blast, stick save McCallop. Millette gets past Benchich. Graham trying to settle down the bouncing puck, got it up to Larkin, floats it across, Dietrich down towards Lockney. Lockney pokes it to Millette. Millette thought about the shot, and now Dietrich working downhill. Hands it off to Larkin. Back pedals. Millette for Dietrich. Walking in. Lockney fanned on the shot. Stuck in some skates, and Benchich able to clear. Tossed around, and Larkin takes it in. Austin Federley is fresh off the bench. Larkin gives it to him. Federley ahead to Anderson. The Prowlers have switched units. Blake Anderson stops up. Anderson tried to hand it off to Alexander. Now Favaro over to Federley. He has to settle the puck down. Hakala, Alexander. Hakala, rising shot, may have caught the crossbar. Blake Anderson was knocked down. He's down on the ice right now. They whistle play dead. And now the Prowlers go over to check on their injured comrade. Ryan Alexander wants to have a chat with Matthew Gordon. Bridget Smith, the Prowlers trainer, hustling out to check on Blake Anderson. Oh, and you see the pool of blood right there where Blake Anderson's face was laying on the ice. They get the towel to him. Again. Oh, right there at the end of the highlight. You were able to see it at the end of that replay. Anderson is heading back to the bench. A pool of blood to clean up over by Marshall McCallop. And it's time for a timeout. We'll see if we can take another look when we come back here on the PHP Network.
Discover everything banking should be with Advia Credit Union, like earning real financial advantages. You can earn up to $1,000 with your new account. Plus, save an average of nearly $4,000 in interest when refinancing. Get started with the low-rate credit card balance transfer. Enjoy easy access to your money anytime, anywhere. Make the switch today at adviacu.org/real people. Advia Credit Union. Real advantages for real people.
Back here on the PHP Network, Prowlers scratching and clawing down the stretch, trying to hold on to a 2-1 win that would secure them home ice in the first round. And for those that maybe are newer fans, first round is a best-of-3 series. So you get 2 out of the 3 at home. That looms even larger than you would in a 7-game series. Game 1 would be on the road. Games 2 and 3 back here at McMorran. Well, let's hope the Prowlers can finish this one out, wrap up home ice as we head into the final few weekends of the season.
Thank you, Brady. And a 3-point win would also mean the first 100-point season for the Prowlers since 2017-18. So a lot on the line here, and I would venture to say that even if they don't get all 3 points tonight, a 100-point season is well within reach for Port Huron. Stepping out of the box is Corrigan. A penalty has expired. Millette works in, toe drag, couldn't get the shot off. Varava off the glass and out. Oregon up to Lockney, tipped it along. Popped up in the air. Corgan swatted at it. Sent up the wall, and Malsigov lost it to Favaro with help from James. Oregon looking towards Millette, who is heading off for a change. No icing here. McCallop plays it up the near side boards. Alexander in front looking for James. Pass was just behind him. The drop here for Watertown didn't work. Here comes Alexander wheeling the other direction. Ryan Alexander takes the shot off the stick of McCallop, and the puck sent out of danger. Fadiev tossed it along. Here comes Ryder wheeling in with a shot and a good save by Bailey Huber. Kept in the Prowlers' end. Oregon over to Favaro. Ahead to James. Indirect pass has Lockney dropping the shoulder all the way around the net. Lucas Lockney lost it. Stepping in is Lockhart for Graham, and he couldn't get a shot away as Dunford came over to throw a check. Pass was behind Gilbert. Prowlers on the counter. It's Graham over for Anderson. Spinning back, gave it up top. Lockhart walks in and shoots, and a save made by McCallop. Parsons gets the puck back down the wall, but right into Bencic. Bencic enters the Prowler end. Loose puck right in the slot. Parsons able to rescue it and just slide it out. This one goes all the way down, though, for an icing. Well, Blake Anderson and the Prowlers have to stick out there. Good to see Blake Anderson still out there, or back out there after taking that stick to the face on his last shift. CJ's Bar and Grill keeps the kitchen open until 1 a.m. and gives you a 10% discount for wearing Prowlers gear on a home game day. It's the perfect place for all of your post-game celebrations. And the reason there was no penalty, for those curious, when Blake Anderson got hit in the face with the stick, was because it was a follow-through. I believe it was Gordon who was trying to swat at a puck that was up in the air. As Austin Federley beats everyone to this puck down below the goal line in Watertown territory, allows his team to finish a change. Millette has his line on the ice. He has the puck along the half wall. Turning up top, Millette with a shot, save, rebound, Dietrich sent it wide. Larkin working down the wall. Taken off his stick. Hakala swoops in. Hakala starts up high, still with the puck. Now he goes behind the net to Millette. Millette looking, turning, tried to make a pass to Larkin, but Larkin didn't move down where Millette was expecting him to. And it's Varava. Sent up to Newman. Corgan had it poked off his stick. Still in the Wolves zone. Newman just tosses it out. And Oregon, fresh off the bench, retrieves it in his own end. Tipped in by Anderson. And McCallop has it covered up for a whistle and a face-off. 5:33 left to go in regulation. Prowlers still hanging on to a 1-goal lead. They're out shooting the Wolves 10-4 in this third period. Off the drop. They try and poke it ahead. Favaro back to Oregon. Indirect feed off the boards. Couldn't be touched ahead by Anderson. Here comes Grant Mentis with a shot as he was getting hit. Didn't get through to Huber. Alexander lost it to Grant Mentis, who dumped it back deep. Fadiev muscled off by Lockhart. Ryder and Lockney go into the end wall. Favaro up to Anderson. Played it off a skate. Poked down to Ryder. Hands off. Fadiev shot. Denied by Bailey Huber. We'll take our final timeout. Under 5 to go. Wolves trying to tie the game.
Discover 1195 Gastropub in Marysville. Burgers, pizzas, apps, and pub favorites like filet mignon and grilled salmon. Open Monday to Friday, 4 to 9 p.m., weekends 12 to 9 p.m. Join us for happy hour, Monday to Thursday. Enjoy half-off bottles of wine every Wednesday, and don't miss Thirsty Thursday with $4 draft beers. Great food, cold drinks, good times. That's 1195 Gastro Pub.
It's time to wake up on the sunrise side of Michigan. Wake up to beautiful beaches. Wake up to vibrant urban landscapes. Wake up to unique eats. Wake up to charming coastal towns. Wake up to cozy entertainment. Wake up to Michigan's Thumb Coast. Plan your perfect wake-up call using bluewater.org.
We invite you to tune into our next broadcast. That will be Friday, April the 3rd. Yeah, we'll be flipping the calendar to April this upcoming week. Prowlers visit the Binghamton Black Bears. Puck drop is scheduled for 7:30 p.m. Pregame show starts at 7:15. It's all right here on the PHP Network. Potential playoff preview. But, of course, both of those teams will have to win their first round series. The Bobcats and the Scarecrows are not going to be easy outs for different reasons. But we'll see who the Prowlers and Black Bears get in the first round of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs, whether it is Blue Ridge or Topeka, as those two teams still are not locked into their spots. Technically, the Prowlers are not locked in either, but they would need to lose out, and the Bobcats would need to win out for Port Huron to not get the second seed. It is all but clinched at this point, as Matt Graham able to toss the puck in, glove down by Gordon. Benchich wraps the puck all the way around. Parsons and Hall getting to it. Lockney pokes it away from Gilbert. Now Parsons up to Lockney. He sends Hakala on his way. Hakala with a rip. That's blocked by Gordon. Lockney for Hakala. Centering feed. Alexander shut down. Another save by McCallum. Ryan Alexander can't buy a goal right now as Favaro is knocked down by Dunford. Lots of chances for Alexander. He wheels back in. Alexander centering feed. Millette couldn't get it to a shooting spot. Ryder for Benchich. Skates out with Fadiev, and Benchich dumps the puck around. Fadiev and Favaro come together. They dig away. Time ticking off the clock here as Dietrich pulls it out. Goes ahead to Millette on the right wing side. Back to Dietrich, wheeling in with a shot, kicked out. Rebound, pitchforked out of danger by Zimmerman. Fadiev had it knocked away by Millette on the back check. Alexander back for Federley. Long pass ahead to Millette. Now on to Price, working in with James. Price with a shot, save, rebound. Ends up in the corner. James got it back to Price. He was dislodged from the puck. Gilbert hustles ahead, and he sidestepped the check from Blake Anderson. Grant Mentis with a long-range try. That was stopped by Huber. He has it in the glove, and we get another whistle with 2:31 left to go in a tight hockey game. That was from a little while earlier. Saw Gilbert getting a whack in on Artu Hakala behind the play. Referees certainly letting both teams play tonight. There's been a lot of nastiness that has grown between these teams over the past few meetings. Off this draw, Zimmerman wraps it all the way around. Graham Plays it back to Oregon. Federley off the boards and out. Varava sweeps it up to Newman. Bounce deep. We will keep an eye on Marshall McCallop. See when the Wolves elect to pull him. As Graham lost the handles he tried to pull up. Oregon recollects for Port Huron. And Favaro looks to start up ice. Cross corner dump. Gordon chips it up the boards. Millette takes over there though. In low now. Fed it across to Newman. Now Grant Mentis working with a shot blocked by Larkin. Prowlers look to come out. Dietrich pushes it back to his own end, and Gordon chips it along. Sets around behind the net. Now Larkin tosses it out, and McCallop has to retreat as here comes Reggie Millette. Millette pulls up, hands it off for James with a shot blocked. James back on it. Varava tied up with James and Price in the corner. Moved up the boards. Anderson looking towards the net. Tried to float it there, couldn't do it. Under a minute to go in regulation. Ryder slides it up to Grant Mentis. McCallop is heading to the bench. Extra attacker out for Watertown, as Grant Mentis couldn't get that shot through. Jumps behind the cage. Ryder, a turnaround chance that missed. Grant Mentis swept it up top. Ryder on the near side boards. Fed across. Grant Mentis on goal, and Huber clamps the glove on top. So we'll get a whistle and a face-off to Bailey Huber's right, and timeout has been called by Watertown. Well, last night was a game that featured a Prowlers score with a 2 in it and a Wolves score with a 1 in it, although there was an extra 1 in front of that 2 for the Prowlers. This one, a much closer affair. It has been 2-1 since the second period, when Trevor Newman scored 2:33 in, and we have not seen a goal since. Prowlers scored both of their goals in the first period. Coming up on the post-game show here on the PHP Network, we'll take you all the way back through it, highlights and analysis, get you the final game stats, locker room reaction, and more. It's all coming up right here on the PHP Network, so don't go anywhere when the final buzzer sounds, because you'll get to hear from coach and a player from the Prowlers. As the Wolves send out Hall, Fadiev, Ryder, Grant Mentis, Gordon, and Varava. Watertown in need of a goal. 27.5 ticks left. Pushed behind the net. Fadiev from the goal line all the way across. Grant Mentis for Varava. Wrist shot kicked out by Huber. Lockney has it. Lockney trying to force it out. He was surrounded. Now Graham takes over. Off his own man! Big save, Huber on Grant Mentis! Up at the top. Shot hit a man on the way through, and the Wolves run out of time as Grant Mentis tried the Michigan at the buzzer. Prowlers escape. 2-1 your final. Bailey Huber had to come up with some big stops there at the end. Huber finished with 23 saves. Here's the last one. On Marquise Grant Mentis. Stick around for the 3 stars of the game announcement. There was Marquise Grant Mentis trying the Michigan as time expired, which would have been a heck of a way to tie this hockey game. The Prowlers salute their fans here tonight at McMorran Place. And they have hit 100 points for the first time since the 2017-18 season. And the Prowlers will officially have home ice advantage in the first round of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs, which means Game 1 will not be here at McMorran Place. It will actually be Game 2 and the potential Game 3 of that first round series. And the first time since that same 2017-18 season that the Prowlers have had home ice advantage in the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. As the prayer circle gets set to conclude here at center ice following this one tonight. Lots more to do here at McMorran Place. We'll have the 3 stars of the game in just a moment. And the Prowlers, at least here, they will have a jersey auction for these awesome Paw Patrol jerseys with some proceeds heading to Blue Water Area Humane Society. And they'll also have a skate with the fans as they do after every single Mitz's Kids Zone night game. So a nice picture there for Marquise Grant-Mentis and Reggie Millette.
The third star, 19 from Watertown with 1 goal. Number 55, Trevor Newman.
Trevor Newman, the third star with a goal tonight.
From Port Huron with 1 goal. Number 29, Bobby Price.
Bobby Price announced as the second star of the game. He scored the game-winning goal tonight.
And the first star, 19 with 23 saves. Number 39, Bailey Huber.
Bailey Huber, 23 stops tonight. Saw about nearly twice as many shots as he saw last night. And he came up big for the Prowlers, who did not get everything to go to the back of the net tonight like they did last night. And he's our Gunther Graphics player of the game, and he gets to chat with our Brady Beaton.
Down here on the ice with our Gunther Graphics player of the game, Bailey Huber. Bailey, you know, in that last 30 seconds, it was a flurry of shots. What was going through your mind? You've seen the puck well. Walk us through that last sequence.
Just battling, you know, it's something we talk about a lot in the locker room. It's just playoff mentality, and so when you're in a 2-1 game like this, it battle till the end, and then guys were blocking shots, guys were clearing guys out, and I was just trying to see the puck.
You know, you talk about playoff mentality. This win secures home ice for the first round of the playoffs. What does it mean for at least round 1 to know you have 2 games at McMorran Arena?
That's super exciting. You know, these fans come out here and they watch us, and they're really loud, and it's a great atmosphere, and whoever comes in here has a hard job.
You know, Bailey, early in the game you guys go up 2-0, and it looks like it might be a game similar to last night. They battle back, they make it a 2-1 game. What does it say about the team that they were able to ramp it up and match that intensity as the game went on?
You know, it's hard to get 2 wins in any weekend, so we knew they were going to come out a little bit different type of game tonight, and they proved that. But we hung around, we battled through it, and we got away with the 3 points.
Well, Bailey, I appreciate it. We're starting to have a standing appointment here after these games. Congratulations, and good luck next week.
Thank you so much.
Our Gunther Graphics player of the game, Bailey Huber. Will, back to you.
And you got to hear from Bailey Huber. There's the James family again here at McMorran Place. Got to see Luke James out there on the ice tonight as his team picked up a 2-1 win. Well, once again, coming up on the post-game show here on the PHP Network, Bailey Huber and the rest of the Prowlers will go celebrate in the locker room. We will hear from Prowlers Associate Head Coach Chris Paulin. We'll also get some highlights and analysis, the final game stats, and much more. All of that coming up next here on the PHP Network.
Are you sick of asking somebody else to live your own life? I'm Josh with the Franchise Guys. If you're ready to quit your job or build your empire, I'll help you trim down my 800 franchise brand partnerships down to a few that fit you, fit your goals, and fit your budget. With options from senior care to airplane detailing, there's an opportunity for you. Owning a franchise can have up to a 90% success rate. That's better than job security. With the systems and support of a franchise, you won't be making all those costly mistakes as you would if you started your own business from scratch. And with options as low as $6,000 to get your own job-replacing business, there's no better option for you than to book a free call with me and my team. Visit GoFranchiseGuys.com. Stop dreaming about a better life and go live it.
Come party where the Prowlers party at Hamlin Pub. With 10 locations including locally in St. Clair, Richmond, and Chesterfield. Hamlin Pub is the best place for your hangout. Watch the Prowlers or your other favorite sports teams on their mini screens throughout the pub and get your weekend going with live entertainment every Friday and Saturday. Come party like the Prowlers at Hamlin Pub.
Hey, Spike. My hip meds are costing a fortune. My humans are stressed, and they're pretending it's fine.
You're not alone, Max. My humans are cutting back on my flea and tick meds.
Ugh, tell me about it. My thyroid pills were draining the kibble fund until we found Global Pharmacy Plus.
Online stores? Are they actually cheaper?
Way cheaper. They save my humans 40% or more compared to those other big online sites.
My humans can finally afford on premium treats again!
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hi guys, we just stopped at Industrial Park Marathon to get some fuel and some snacks before the Prowlers game at McMorran.
Nice. Yeah, we just stopped by here at Industrial Park Marathon so I can get a Slurpee before the game.
Wait till after the game. If the Prowlers score 3 or more goals, Slurpees will be free.
Thanks for the info. I'm going to get my Slurpee after, but we'll see you at the Prowlers game.
See you at the game. Go Prowlers!
Yeah, I don't know about this one, fellas.
Boys, we don't overcome adversity by backing down. But yeah, I don't know about this one.
That's reassuring.
We're so screwed.
All right, boys. Here's the game plan. LJ, you start with bananas.
Wait, why do I have to do the bananas?
Because you're the softest on the team.
I don't want the bananas.
This thing is gonna melt. We gotta hurry up.
I won't do it.
Okay, both of you. I will do the bananas and the whipped cream. Fets, please continue.
Who's paying for this anyway?
I am. I just bought my tickets for the Prowlers game this weekend, and the Milk House gave me 25% off my order.
Fets, why'd you buy the tickets? You're literally on the team.
For the discount.
So are you all ready to give it a try?
Oh, we're ready.
It's true. Get 25% off your entire order at the Milk House, October through April. Simply show your ticket stubs at checkout and enjoy your discounted treat.
Well, back here on the PHP Network, and we can send it right down to Prowlers Associate Head Coach Chris Poland, who is standing alongside our Brady Beaton.
Down here on the ice for our Schultz Roofing Coaches interview with Associate Head Coach Chris Poland. Coach, you were able to get a win here tonight, much different than last night. You get up 2-0 early and then putter out a little bit. How are you able to hold on and get this win?
Goaltending. Thought Hubie played an excellent game. He was called upon a lot, especially in that third period, and he made some incredible saves for us.
One thing I want to ask you about, I believe it was in the second period you guys had, or in the third, you had a goal that was called off, pulled his mask off. What was the explanation you got from the official?
Yeah, the ref just said he saw his buckle pop. Thought it was a dangerous situation, and he went to blow his whistle. So he didn't actually blow his whistle till after the puck was shot, but he said he had intention to. So it is what it is. We don't worry about the officiating. We play as hard as we can. We control what we can.
You know, you mentioned Bailey at the end, that especially the last 30 or so seconds, he was getting a barrage of shots, able to find his way. I know we talked about it before, but with a guy like Reed Cooper, who's been out a couple weeks now, Huber has stepped in, and you haven't missed a beat at all.
Well, yeah, Huber's been great all year. I mean, I thought early in the season, his first start ever, actually played the same team, beat him 2-1. He's been really good all season, and especially the last month and a half or so, he's really improved a lot and really caught his stride. So we talked about having playoff energy and focus and intensity. But play like especially with the goalies, we talk always play every shift like it's overtime. And I thought that level of focus was a little sharper from him tonight. I thought he played really well. Not just the results, but the way he controlled the game. I thought we gave up a lot of chances, and they were leaking up for offense a couple times. He had to make some breakaway saves throughout the game. So he was dialed in all night. He played great.
Speaking of the playoffs, you clinch home ice in the first round. What does that mean for at least round one? You know you could have up to 2 games here at McMorran Arena.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're very focused on next weekend. So when we get to playoffs, we can talk about it then. Right now, we have a great challenge, and we're excited. Boys will go out tonight, have some fun together, some team building, which is very important. And then have a day off tomorrow. Then Monday we'll come back to work. We got a lot to prep for. A lot to clean up. I think, whenever you have a few new guys playing together, it takes a little bit of time to just click fully. But I thought all our college guys stepped up and did a great job for us this week, and they'll get better and better. Some of the things that, maybe didn't go their way, it's very fixable, very correctable. So they're all great guys. They're all very coachable. I thought Jamer, although his night very short, what a start, electric start to the game. He wanted to send a message, set the tone. And for just his second pro game ever, doing what he did and the fight he had, incredible. So really excited for him.
That was one of the better bouts I've seen in a long time, especially the jersey comes up quick, and he still controls the pace of the fight. I think that's a way to announce yourself to the league, huh?
Well, it's interesting. Whenever you recruit guys from college, you're not allowed to fight in college. Right. So you kind of have to do a little forecasting, a little predicting. But, no, we were very confident talking to him that that was an element to the game that he can bring. And I think, as he builds his pro career, I think having that in his arsenal is going to be huge for him. So I was really proud of him.
Well, Coach, I appreciate it. Congrats on 6 points, and good luck on the road trip.
Thank you.
Will, back up to you.
Thank you, Brady. And as Brady with Pro Associate Head Coach Chris Paulin on the Schultz Roofing Coaches interview. And now we can get into the recapping portion of the show. And, well, we talked about it. The fight in the first few seconds of the game, Justin Jamer and Adam Zimmerman. You heard the crowd was getting going early, but you saw the jersey come up over Jamer's head and off his body, and that resulted in an illegal equipment penalty. That's a game misconduct against Jamer, so his night lasted just 9 seconds, but the Prowlers certainly appreciated, and you heard Coach Paulin talk about it, that fight from Justin Jamer, his first as a pro. All the port here on offense came in the first period. It started 1 minute and 34 seconds in, and it was, guess who? Grayson Dietrich, who found a loose puck in the slot, able to wrist it high glove on Marshall McCallop. What a shot from Grayson Dietrich here. Greatest sound in hockey is when you hear the post and it goes in, and Dietrich made it a 1-0 game with his 5th goal of the weekend. Not to be outdone later in that period. Here's Blake Anderson in his 100th career FPHL game to Bobby Price, who has his 5th goal of the weekend. It was 2-0 Prowlers, just about the midway point of that first period. He went high blocker. And the Prowlers goals leader now up to 26 on the season. And he now leads the Prowlers with 48 points this year, breaking a tie with Matt Graham after scoring that one. And that was the only offense again in the first period. The only offense the Prowlers would get throughout the entire game. But Watertown made things interesting early in the second as Trevor Newman will get this pass off the boards. And Newman was able to kind of sneak in the high slot in the offensive zone. You see Newman right at the top, right on the right side of your screen, just kind of meandering in. Gets a little bit lost in the high slot, and he made it a 2-1 game at that point, and that's really when we knew we have a hockey game tonight. Last night was a blowout. Tonight is a real hockey game, and the Prowlers and Bailey Huber were able to hold things down from there. Marshall McCallop did his job on the other end as well. Here's Huber in the final seconds of the game as Matt Graham tried to clear it, hit his own man, came all the way over to Marquise Grant-Mentis. And there is a great candidate for the save of the week as Bailey Huber saves the day. He had a couple of breakaway saves in this game as well against Vladimir Fadiev. And Huber is red hot. He has won 11 of his last 12 starts, up to 13-5-0 in his rookie season. The Prowlers took it by a final of 2-1, and thanks in large part to Huber, who is our Gunther Graphics player of the game. 13th win of the season again for Huber. 23 saves on 24 shots for the rookie netminder, who has had to step up in Reed Cooper's absence over these last few weeks, and he has done a fantastic job in Cooper's place. You know, it was a rough start for the first few weeks of the season, first few starts for Huber, and you know, with a guy like Cooper who's getting the consistent starts, may not have necessarily gotten into the rhythm that he wanted early in the year. But Huber has gotten better and better and better as this season has moved along. Coach Paulin has talked about him at length, about him in continuing to improve this season. And now you're kind of seeing the fruits of that labor as Huber has been strong over these past few weeks, keeping the Prowlers afloat with some more strong goaltending, even as Port Huron has been without its number one netminder. Gunther Graphics, your go-to guy for logos, websites, and branding. We take a look at the Gunther Graphics game stats, the final stats from this week, or from this game. A 2-1 win for the Prowlers. Both goaltenders were fantastic. Huber made 23 saves. Marshall McCallop on the other side with 35 stops on the Prowlers. Both power plays went 0 for 4 total combined between the two. Couple of low penalty games this weekend. 17-11 the penalty minutes in this one, and that's significantly higher than the penalty totals from last night. Well, there's your behind-the-scenes look. Here's how it's all done on the PHP Network. Everybody wave here in the broadcast booth. This is how it's all done. Lots of fancy tech that we have up here, and luckily we have people who know how to use it, because that person is not me, but that's how it all happens. That's why I look so good here every single night on the PHP Network. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we will have the out-of-town scores and wrap this one up from McMorran Place as fans flood the ice. Their post-game skate with the team.
Hockey is like a business. One missed pass can derail the perfect plan. Have Taft Consulting help you get your whole team on the same page. They have the expertise to help you follow through on all your goals. Find out how they can help you today by emailing taftconsulting@outlook.com.
Hello, I'm home.
There he is.
What is happening?
Relax. We won. They brought back the snack wrap. Spicy or ranch?
Spicy.
Yeah, go. Yeah. Just one little bite.
Can you stop?
Oh, sorry.
Gather your crew. Snack Wrap is back.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers.
We are one of the largest manufacturers of rearview mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
Is that him?
Look over there. It's Bob. Wow, just look at that hair. Ever since he started getting his stuff from Global, the guy's unstoppable.
So that's what confidence can do?
That's just not fair.
Oh my goodness, it's Bob! Bob! Bob!
Give me the phone. I'm calling Global Pharmacy Plus for myself.
This isn't working. LJ, pass me those flyers. No look behind the back pass. It's a whole play. I'll take. Come on. Gap up. Close the gap. Close the gap. What are we saying? This isn't working. We need a shift change. Let's bring in the professionals.
What's more authentic than a Hungry Howie's Detroit-style pizza? Nothing. We're not playing around with the pizza of our birthplace. Thick crust, cheese to the edge, sauce on the top. Where it belongs. We've seen a lot of fakes out there. Not here. This is authentic Detroit-style pizza. Order yours now online for $12.99. We sauce the top and rep for the 313 everywhere. We do bold. Hungry Howie's.
Back here at McMorran Place, jersey auction, skate with the players, all of that fun stuff going on here in Port Huron as the Prowlers took down the Watertown Wolves by a score of 2-1. Let's take one last look around our out-of-town scoreboard. Plenty of games still relatively early if you want to hop over there to continue your FPHL watching experience. But one that has finished in overtime. Casing Gallant scored the winner against his former team as the Thunderbirds. Escaped a 2-goal comeback by the Rock Lobsters in the third period to win it 4-3 in overtime. Danbury Hat Tricks are about to head to the third period against the Binghamton Black Bears. They have a 4-3 lead. Chance Adrian has 2 goals for Danbury. Ivan Bondarenko, a goal and an assist for Binghamton. CJ Stubbs, a goal and an assist as well. River Dragons up 4-2 on Monroe. They're getting set for the third period down in Columbus as the Dragons scored the first 4 goals of the game and the Moccasins the last 2. Bobcats up 2-0 on the PD Ice Cats. They're still playing in the second period. Philip Lavac and Carson Andrioli, the goals for Blue Ridge in that one. Topeka has a 1-0 lead up in Minnesota as Avery Smith has the only goal there. They're through 1 period of play. Midway through the first in Mississippi, the Breakers and the Zydeco are still scoreless. Of course, here the Prowlers take down the Wolves by a score of 2-1. Out-of-town scoreboard presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. Use code Prowlers for 15% off at Love After Hours. That's going to do it for us here on the PHP Network. So much thanks to go around for the entire crew. Shout out to Christian Jackson, Kyle Cosson, and Liz Brown running the show tonight. Zach Thompson was on the graphics. Camera operators Damian Polak, Elizabeth Sullivan, Andres Hyde, and Aiden Bricker, and Paul Campbell. And of course there's Brady Beaton and the dogs who are out here tonight. Want you to tune into our next game. That is next Friday. Prowlers will be in Binghamton, take on the 2-time defending champs for the final time this regular season. Puck drop scheduled for 7:30 p.m. Pregame show starts at 7:15. But for Brady Beaton and the entire crew, I'm Will Wiggleman saying good night from the Mike Emmerich broadcast booth here at McMorran Place. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you next time on the PHP Network.